presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
We are back in Arizona for a 10-game homestand and a hot trade deadline. The D-backs very active. Martin Prado saying his goodbyes in the D-backs clubhouse just a few hours ago as two key pieces pack up. Prado, now a Yankee. Gerardo Parra off to Milwaukee as the D-backs get busy at the deadline. Set to open a 10-game homestand with 4 here tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Greetings from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The Major League Baseball non-waiver trade deadline has come and gone, and so have Martin Prado and Gerardo Parra. Prado is off to the Yankees, Parra off to Milwaukee. In these couple of moves here, the Diamondbacks save in excess of $30 million and get some promising prospects in return. Here's Kevin Towers earlier today.
Haniger. He was in the fall league. We got to see him a lot in the fall league. Actually, we're very high on him when he was an amateur. Coming out of the draft, I know he was very high on our board, on Ray's board back then. Kind of profiles probably more of a corner outfielder, although he has played center. Offensive player. We got a left-handed pitcher in Banda, who is a projectable left-hander, 90 to 92 mile-an-hour fastball, plus changeup. Breaking ball in the making, but a guy that our scouts felt, even though it's probably a couple of years away, chance to be a middle of the rotation, maybe better. He's 20 years old. O'Brien is probably one of the best offensive players in the minor leagues right now. He's played some first. He's caught. He's going to be wearing the gear for us. Talked to him on the phone. He's excited about that.
So a busy day for the Diamondbacks. Kevin Towers, the GM, will join us in our broadcast booth live in the third inning of tonight's game. Bob, what do you think about everything that happened today?
Well, obviously financially a big boost for the Diamondbacks moving forward for the next couple of years. But you think about Gerardo Parra, who was one of the big fan favorites here from the very first day he put on a uniform. He'll sorely be missed just for his personality. And Martin Prado was the most popular guy in the clubhouse, no question about it. So possibly some chemistry issues in there. We'll see who emerges as the leader with Prado gone.
In the meantime, first of 4 here tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a contender for the National League Central, as the elite meet here in the desert. It's 1 and 2 of the MVP voting last year. McCutchen and Goldschmidt, a preview coming up. is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow for the purchase of a large drink.
Welcome back to Chase Field. Cindy Brunson with you here at field level. And after the business of the trade deadline is in our rearview mirror, it is time to focus on baseball. And what a fantastic pair of bats we'll have in this matchup as the Pirates and the Diamondbacks get set to square off. We have the reigning National League MVP and Andrew McCutchen on one side, and of course the D-backs Paul Goldschmidt, who finished #2 in the voting last year. McCutchen batting .471 has in his last 5 games at Chase Field, .333 career against Arizona. Goldie leading all of Major League Baseball with 39 doubles and is hitting .500 in his last 5 games against the Pirates. It is deja vu all over again for these two elite bats in the National League. Of course, Goldie's hoping to provide some run support for Josh Colmenter. D-back starters in their last 4 starts have a .205 ERA, and you know the Tomahawk wants to keep that going. First pitch is next with Steve and Bob. Enjoy.
Since the All-Star break, coming into Chase Field tonight, 7 over 500 and only 2 games behind the first-place Brewers in the National League Central. D-backs opening and closing the month of July against these Pirates, who won 2 of 3 at PNC Park when these two met earlier this year. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs, it's Josh Colmenter. Coming off the worst start of his Major League career, he failed to survive the 3rd inning in Philadelphia last Saturday. His catcher tonight, Miguel Montero.
You just have to locate his fastball. If his fastball command is good, I mean, he's going to give us a good chance to win.
Colmenter left the game in the 3rd Saturday against the Phillies, trailing 6-2, but got off the hook when the D-backs picked him up and came back to win that game 10-6.
A lot of traffic in the first 3 innings of that ball game. Gave up 2 hits in the first, 6 in the second, and 3 in the third before he was mercifully pulled from the ball game. Just had no fastball command, as you heard Miguel Montero talk about. A lot of pitches in the middle of the plate against the Phillies.
Pittsburgh closing out a 10-game road trip with 4 at Chase Field. They lost 2 of 3 at Coors. They just won 2 of 3 at San Francisco. Josh Harrison getting the start in left field. Looks at ball 1, and we are underway. Pat Hoberg, our plate umpire at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. And watch out for Harrison, who's been red hot lately. He's homered in 4 straight ball games, all out of the leadoff spot.
How about that? 8 for 17 in his last 4 games. 4 homers, a double, 6 runs driven in, and scored 6. And stole 2 bases.
A National League All-Star this year. Hit a home run off Tim Lincecum yesterday afternoon in the Pirates' loss in San Fran. Last Pirate to homer in 5 straight games, Jose Castillo, May of 2006. Shows bunt there, and it's 3 balls and a strike. The home road splits. This guy does very well away from PNC Park. He's got the home run swing going here against Colementor, 3-2.
Yeah, apparently stole his batting gloves from a crossing guard at an elementary school. Man, you can see those things a mile away.
Josh Colementor down 3-1, comes back to strike out Josh Harrison. This is the lineup tonight for Clint Hurdle's Pirates.
Nice comeback there against the leadoff hitter, Josh Harrison. Gregory Polanco in right field batting second. Andrew McCutchen, great numbers here at Chase Field in his career. He'll be in center field. Neil Walker at second base. Ike Davis, Valley product, over at first base. Russell Martin doing the catching today. Pedro Alvarez at third base. Jordy Mercer at shortstop, and left-hander Jeff Locke on the mound for the Buccos.
The left-hand hitting Gregory Polanco. There's a strike, 0-1. Gregory Polanco, a sizzling start to his big league career. D-backs saw some of that when we were in Pittsburgh the first week of July. He's now at .243 on the year. He has seen an extended slump in the middle of this month, which has his rookie learning curve trending downward right now, which is all part of the process. The National League MVP is on deck. Polanco sends this one out to center. Ender Inciarte, a couple of steps shy of the wall, has it for allowed out number 2.
Well, before we get much further into this first inning, our Valley Honda dealer keys to the game. Buck 0 in the first. When the Pirates have scored in the first inning, they've won 17 straight games. So 2/3 of the way there tonight, and the trade hangover, you hope it doesn't affect the players. You'd like to believe everybody's professional enough to move forward. Understand it's all part of the game, but those were 2 key pieces that left that Diamondbacks clubhouse this afternoon.
Andrew McCutchen jumps on the first pitch from Colementor. Easy fly ball for Inciarte, and Colementor does indeed put up that goose egg. We are just underway back home at Chase Field. The All-Star break, and back at Chase Field to open a 10-game homestand. Kirk Gibson, a win tonight will give him the most victories by a manager in D-backs history. His lineup tonight will face your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Pirates. It's Jeff Locke, 26-year-old left-hander. An all-star last season. He has fought injuries this year, but since he's been healthy, he's pitched pretty well. Here's Clint Hurdle.
Jeff needs to make pitches, fastball strikes early. He's got a very good changeup, which plays. The improvement from last year was the number of pitches per hitter faced.
Jeff Locke, not a strikeout guy. The key number for this guy is the walks. Last year led the National League in walks. This year he's had much better command. An average of 4.5 walks per 9 last year. This year that number has dropped below 1.5 walks per 9.
He'll feature a fastball, both a 4-seamer up in the zone, a 2-seamer when he's looking for the ground ball. Has a really good straight changeup. We'll mix in an occasional curveball.
He has become a strike thrower, and it's made him a much more effective pitcher. Ender Inciarte. It's Pedro Alvarez running in from third base. And it's 1-0 to the Diamondback leadoff man at 2:45. Alvarez will stay step or two in on the grass at third. He has been a defensive dumpster fire at third base for the Pirates this year, and something we'll keep an eye on throughout this series. He has had major throwing issues. Ball and a strike to Inciarte. Locke falls behind 3-1. He has tried this year to get ahead in the count. He was nibbling too much earlier. And he'll use some breaking balls early in counts to jump ahead and try and steal some strikes. And he's been throwing that changeup a lot more lately, as we heard from Clint Hurdle. 3-1 is in there, and it's full 3-2. Locke now says that changeup has become his favorite pitch. And it's come a long way, something he never really had much success with until this year. Aaron Hill on deck. Jam shot. Shallow left center. Harrison has it. 1 away. This is the lineup tonight for Kirk Gibson's Arizona Diamondbacks.
We've seen Ender Inciarte at the top. He'll be followed by Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, Mark Trumbo cleaning up this evening, Miguel Montero batting 5th. Jordan Pacheco getting a start at third base. David Peralta hiding down there in the 7th spot. Good numbers against the Pirates this season. Nick Ahmed at shortstop against the left-handed starter for the Pirates, and right-hander Josh Colmenter on the mound.
And Aaron Hill at the plate. A guy whose name was rumored in several trade deadline deals, but here he is. Still wearing Sedona red at 253 on the year and 8 homers. And of course, you can still see some trades. Today was the non-waiver trade deadline. Big difference is if you want to trade a player from here on in, he must clear waivers first. Any team can claim him, but if he does clear waivers, then you're free to make your deal. If a team claims a player on waivers, you have to make the trade with that team. 2-0 to Hill. Locke said he was a strike thrower. Haven't seen that yet tonight. He's thrown 9 pitches, 6 of them balls. Aaron Hill, the bat heating up as of late. Last 16 games, 14 of them starts. He's hitting almost .330. Strike 2 now, says Pat Hobert.
Locke has a little bit of Louis Tiant in his delivery as well. Puts that one right at the bottom of the knees on the outside corner. Not quite as exaggerated as Oliver Perez, but turns his back to the hitter just a little bit to add some deception to that fastball right there.
And he rings up Aaron Hill after Hill had been ahead in the count 3-0 and some words, and they're still jawing. He and plate umpire Pat Hobert.
He must have been arguing about the pitch before, because that one looked like it caught quite a bit of that inside part of the plate, well above the knees. That's not uncommon for a hitter to be called out on strikes, but argue about a pitch earlier in the at-bat that put him in a position to make that a strike 3 pitch.
Here's Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt, 9th in the league in hitting and 3rd in RBIs. Andrew McCutcheon and Goldie 1 and 2 in the National League in walks. And we get to see these guys go head to head for 4 games here. You saw Goldie's OPS, 3rd in the league. He is 1 spot ahead of Andrew McCutcheon. It's amazing how similar these guys are statistically. Down the right field line, but slicing foul, 1-2.
That was Locke's 15th pitch of the game and only the 2nd swing by a Diamondbacks hitter.
Seems like that's part of the game plan.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it because, as you mentioned, Locke is notorious as a strike thrower, tries to get ahead in the count, pitch to contact. And Diamondbacks trying to wait him out, get in those favorable counts.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Been a little bit of a slow stretch for Goldie lately. Last 10 games he's hit under 180. 2-2. And the strikeouts, as we see with Paul from time to time, strikeouts have gone up a bit here. 14 Ks in his last 39 at bats. But a home run yesterday at Cincinnati. Nice way to end what was a fairly quiet road trip for Paul. Two. This was Goldie yesterday afternoon at Great American Ballpark.
Alfredo Simon, who's having an outstanding year for the Reds. Goldie adjusted his swing a little bit there, brought his hands in closer to his body to make sure and get the barrel on it.
So Locke ends up with 2 strikeouts in the inning. Through 1, no score at Chase Field. Oh, Mike and Sharon mixing it up. Good to be back home at Chase Field for this 10-game homestand. First of 4 against the Pirates. Let's take a look now at our top-tier player of the game, brought to you by Arco. And how about this? Josh Colmenter, pretty good lately here at home.
Well, that same thing can be said for the entire season. His numbers at home on the season, a 2.94 ERA with opponent's batting average at 2.22. On the road, the ERA at 5.59. Opponents hitting 3.40. So he's right where he wants to be.
And here is the switch hitting second baseman for the Pirates, Neil Walker. 281, 15 homers. And far and away the most among National League second basemen, the 49 RBIs, tied with Aaron Hill for second most at the position, just behind Chase Utley. And he knocks that the other way in the left for a leadoff single. First base runner tonight. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively behind Cole Mentor. First time we've seen Jordan Pacheco play in the field.
Yeah, left to right in the outfield. It'll be Trumbo, Inciarte, and Peralta. Jordan Pacheco's first start at third base since the 2012 season. A very versatile guy. He can play all over the field. Nick Ahmed at short, Aaron Hill at second, Paul Goldschmidt over at first base, Miguel Montero behind the plate for right-hander Josh Cole Mentor.
And Jordan Pacheco eventually became a full-time catcher in Colorado, but he's played a lot more than you think at third base. In fact, 2 seasons ago, he started 80 games at third for the Colorado Rockies, so he is more than familiar with that spot. And I think it's going to be interesting, Bob, to finally, we've kind of been campaigning for it, finally get a look at Jordan Pacheco.
Well, I know he did a lot of damage against us as a member of the Colorado Rockies. Seemed to put together those good at bats, get to a 3-ball count, foul off a number of pitches, and then flip one in there somewhere for a base hit. Hopefully he'll do the same right here.
Throw down to first from Montero. Walker's back in time, and it's 1-1 to the former Sun Devil Ike Davis.
They're kind of settling into that black and gold since the All-Star break. He's 7 for 19 with 4 homers. You see his numbers on the season.
Pirates got him April 18th, a trade with the Mets, who got a couple of minor leaguers in return. And as Bob mentioned, a fairly productive bat as of late. '85 games with the Pirates so far for Ike. He's hit less than .250 with 6 homers. As they are still, in a sense, trying to find a solution at first base. It's been a black hole there the last couple of years. And misses upstairs, and Cole Mentor's behind 3-1.
A very fine line for Josh. He's at his most effective when he's throwing that 4-seamer up there above the top of the strike zone to get some swings and misses and foul balls, and then driving that fastball down to the knees. But that middle zone between the letters and the knees is a dangerous place for him to pitch.
And he walks Davis. First 2 have reached. Josh Cole Mentor, when he's had difficulty this season, it's been very early. He has given up 15 runs in the first inning, more than any other inning over the course of a ball game this year. And of the 56 runs that Cole Mentor has given up this season, 36 have come in the first 3 innings. And more than half the base hits against Cole Mentor this year have come in the first 3 innings. So he's had trouble from time to time settling in and getting comfortable. And now he's got 2 on, nobody out for Russell Martin.
Russell Martin showing bunt there. Looked like he was trying to bunt for a base hit, maybe draw Pacheco in a little bit at third base. He does have 1 sacrifice bunt this season, and I would venture a guess he tried to bunt for a base hit, advanced the runners, and got thrown out at first and was credited with a sacrifice.
1-0 to the Pirate catcher. There's the strike. Almost 360 with runners in scoring position this year. Look down to Nick Leyva at third. Doing a 1. Russell Martin has had some hamstring issues this year. He missed most of the month of May with a hamstring injury, but he's hit just over 290 since he's been back, and he has been a key to this ball club last couple of years. One of the better free agent signings the Pirates have made probably in the last decade. There's a strike, 2-2. Cole Mentor succeeded in putting up that goose egg in the first inning. It is in trouble here. 2 on, nobody out. 2-2 to Martin. Along the right field line, Peralta gives it a look. Hey fans, come on out to Chase Field this weekend. Diamondbacks and Pirates, get more bang for your buck. Make it a D-backs value pack. This is a great deal. You get the bleacher ticket, a hot dog or a Subway sandwich, a regular Pepsi, and a cookie. All that only $21. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value, and we'll see you down here this weekend at Chase Field for the D-backs and the Buccos. Speak up. Well hit left field. Trumbo at the track. That ball is off the base of the wall. Walker comes in. Davis right behind. The relay from Ahmed is not in time, and it's 2-0 Pirates. Russell Martin, his 9th double. And Comenter down 2-0.
Yeah, we talked about it when we were in Pittsburgh to begin this month, a 3-game series there. Clint Hurdle, the Pirates manager, said no question Andrew McCutchen's the most valuable player, but Russell Martin might be the most important player in this Pirates lineup. Good relay by Nick Ahmed, just not enough time to get Ike Davis at home plate. He had a good read on that drive to the gap in left center and scores easily from first base. I mean, obviously Martin brings a lot to the table, swinging the bat, runs well for a catcher, but the way he handles that pitching staff and senses the rhythms of the game and slows it down when necessary, picks up the pace when necessary.
They are really worried they might not be able to re-sign him. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year. He's the highest paid player on the team right now, making $8.5 million this season. 0-1 to Pedro Alvarez, who has been in and out of the lineup lately with some left knee discomfort and some major defensive issues at third. First 3 have reached for the Pirates here in the second. Pirates have faced a few lefties recently, so Alvarez has not been in there consistently, and Clint Hurdle will not commit or even admit to a platoon at third, but Alvarez is a hard worker, but he's been a high maintenance guy, and that has continued this year to the point where it's become an issue.
Just listening to some of the things we've heard from the Pirates people, it sounds like it's more between the ears than a physical issue. They say when he's moving to his right or his left or charging the ball, he has no problems throwing on to first base. Those routine 2-hoppers right at him when he has a little bit of time to think about that throw, that's when he's had his problems.
He has what they call the thing, which gets in your head and kind of stays there. That's hard hit to first. Goldie thought about third, but Martin already on his way over there, and that's the first out here in the second.
Shortstop number 10.
Along with the defensive miscues have come a noticeable lack of power from Alvarez, so they're trying to get him figured out. And they need to. He's an important bat in this lineup. Here's perhaps the hottest bat in the lineup. It's the shortstop, Jordy Mercer. He's got a 5-game hitting streak. Homered off Tim Lincecum yesterday at San Francisco. Mercer's first home run in more than a month, but he has been very productive lately. Most of the Diamondbacks infield is in on the grass. Mercer 254 and 7 homers. This is a guy who has developed into a nice offensive player. Got off to a horrible start this year. He hit 167 in April. But now he's hit 390 here for the month of July. And this was part of it. Mercer against Lincecum yesterday at AT Park.
Well, usually fans like to see home run balls coming their direction, but man,
right in the beer.
Cost somebody a beer.
Oh, exploding beverage. Tragic. There you see his numbers for July, red hot.
Well, it started against the Diamondbacks, that 3-game series to begin the month of July. He was 5 for 8 in that series.
And showing signs here, becoming a more consistent offensive contributor in the Pirates lineup. Says he's staying consistent, which is ultimately what you want to do in this game. One and two.
Yeah, and that beer, that wasn't one of the $4 beers you get here at Chase Field. That looked like one of those $12 ones with fruit in it.
Oh, well, it's San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
You know, order 2 of those and got to take out a loan.
Call your financial advisor.
That is pretty remarkable that that would land directly in the cup.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people actually reach their beer cup out to try to catch foul balls or occasionally a home run, but that was totally accidental. That ball slam dunked right in the middle of that cup. Heads up.
2-2. I mean, what are the odds?
She's lucky she didn't take that right in the grill. I mean, she didn't move until after that ball made contact with the cup. I don't think she quite saw that one coming.
The exploding beer. Pay attention at all times.
At all times.
Another 2-2. Holmenter laboring through the second after a nice tidy 1-2-3 first. Beware of flying objects.
Balls, bats, helmets, occasionally players leaving the field to play.
There's Anthony Rizzo on the last homestand. 3-2 to Mercer. Little jam shot, long run for Goldie, and he won't quite get there.
Just not high enough in the air for Paul Goldschmidt or anybody to get over there for that matter and make the catch. Grinding it bad here by Jordy Mercer. This is the third 3-ball count that Josh Holmenter's had in this game already. We have a team meeting on the mound here, maybe just to give Josh a little bit of a breather out there. It's hot outside and it's warmer than normal inside tonight. This 25 pitch inning Josh is in the midst of right here with only 1 out so far.
And some work to do. Trying to keep Martin at third with 1 out. Second walk in the inning. And again, Holmenter having trouble getting comfortable early, finding that rhythm. He's had starts where very early in the ball game things just kind of get all out of sorts.
You know, and big league pitchers occasionally are going to walk an opposing batter, especially with the pitcher on deck and a base open. But when it takes 9 pitches to issue that base on balls, that takes its toll to subsequent hitters and subsequent innings.
So Martin at third, Mercer at first. 1 out. Here's the pitcher, Jeff Locke. Pacheco sneaking in even with a runner. Martin at third, and that's bunted foul. Jeff Locke, 13 strikeouts and 19 at bats this year.
It appears to be one of those potential safety squeeze situations. Locke is ideally just trying to bunt Jordy Mercer up to second base, but if it happens to be a perfect bunt and Russell Martin thinks he can sneak home from third base, he may try to come down that line.
You can see Jordan Pacheco staying just about a step ahead of Martin. It's funny as he'll kind of move in and look at the runner, Bob, and move along with Martin down there on that third baseline.
I think it's probably more a case of Martin moving with the defender. You know, as a base runner, you're always told you can get as far off that base as the defender does. Because on any kind of a pickoff attempt down there at third base, obviously Jordan Pacheco is going to have to find the ball, retreat back to the base, and you know, as a base runner, if you're exactly the same distance off the bag he is, you should be able to get back easily.
Because when Pacheco comes in like that, he's a fair distance away from the bag at third. Nick Leyva coaching down there. Pacheco starts, then Martin right behind, almost shadowing. This is bunted back to the mound. Martin stays put. Holmenter gets locked, and Mercer moves up to second.
Running that one right back the runway to the mound. That dirt area between home plate and the mound. True hop that time right back to Josh Comenter, who quickly checked on Martin at third to make sure he wasn't trying to sneak down the line, and then fired on to Aaron Hill for the out.
So it's second and third, 2 outs for the hot hitting Josh Harrison. Home runs in 4 straight games. A National League All-Star this year, having a breakthrough season as a very valuable play-anywhere type of guy who finds ways to impact games. And it's funny, he's an All-Star without a regular position on his own team.
Back in the days that I played, I always thought Jose Oquendo was a guy that should have made a couple of all-star teams over the course of his career, because he was the same kind of player. Played all over the field. Didn't really have a specific position, but was so valuable to the Cardinals at that time that a lot of people were lobbying for Jose Oquendo to make the National League All-Star team a couple of years of his career.
Hitting almost 470 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's going to get you on some all-star teams. Momenter's ahead 1-2, trying to get out of this second. Already at 44 pitches. Well, team's been trying since Harrison's emergence this season to figure out a way to pitch to him. And Harrison says every team, every at bat, it's different. When the Diamondbacks played at Pittsburgh first week of July, Harrison said Arizona came at him with all fastballs, and he said he had no idea what that was all about. So we'll see what kind of approach they take here in this series. Called strike 3. Comenter rings up Harrison and strands 2. But the Pirates on Russell Martin's 2-run double take a 2-0 lead here at Chase.
Part of the business. We all here today, and we don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. So we just go one day at a time, and obviously every day trying to be the best that you can be. And they were trying to be the best that they can be, and they did a great job for us the time that they were here. And but it's, you know, when the teams go like this, they got to make some changes.
Well, part of the changes, Martin Prado, Gerardo Parra off, and got to fill some spots. There's Andy Marte, who just moments ago walked into the dugout, called up from AAA Reno. We've seen Alfredo Marte, now here no relation. This is the veteran Andy Marte, who has played parts of 5 seasons in the big leagues, mostly with Cleveland. He just finally got here to the ballpark, so is greeting all the Diamondbacks in the dugout, up in the big leagues for the first time in 4 years. There is Andy Marte, very good glove at third. A plus defender down there. Hasn't hit a whole lot at the big league level, but having a big offensive season for the Aces this year. He and Roger Kieschnick are up from AAA. As Mark Trumbo strikes out on 3 pitches to open up the second. Locke has now struck out 3 straights. Gerardo Parra going to the Milwaukee Brewers for a pair of prospects, including a promising Mitch Haniger. And then Martin Prado traded to the Yankees. Yankees reportedly picking up all of the money on the contracts. They also sent to the Diamondbacks Pete O'Brien, a very promising power-hitting catcher.
When I heard about the Gerardo Parra trade to the Milwaukee Brewers, I called our old buddy Craig Counsell, who's a special assistant to Doug Melvin, the general manager there. They plan on using Gerardo Parra at all 3 outfield positions to give Ryan Braun a day off, give Carlos Gomez a day off from time to time. Will not be a straight platoon in left field with Chris Davis, but they anticipate Parra getting a lot of playing time over there in Milwaukee.
It's going to be a good fit for them. As Montero hits a slow roller to second that Walker picks up, and quickly 2 down here in the second.
Yeah, and Craig also gave me a scouting report on the 2 guys coming this direction from Milwaukee. Haniger is a guy that got off to a slow start this year at Double-A, but has really been picking it up lately. As you mentioned, was really good in the Arizona Fall League. One of the most fundamentally sound players in the Brewers organization. Has a real good throwing arm from the outfield. They think he's going to develop some power as a hitter. And as far as the left-handed pitcher, they said that he projects well. You heard Kevin Towers say that earlier. Big, tall kid, only 20 years old, has a very smooth delivery. Good straight changeup, fastball touching right around the low 90s. So a guy that projects well. Big, tall left-handers with smooth deliveries. They're going to get every chance to succeed.
Now, he's a youngster, only 20, a bit further back in the system playing at A-ball. But Haniger is a Double-A guy. O'Brien is a Double-A guy. So it's not like these youngsters are 4 or 5 years away, at least certainly the outfielder and the catcher. And you want power. Watched O'Brien win the home run derby in the Arizona Fall League last year. He has got some legit 30 home run power at the big league level.
I mean, 33 home runs in 102 games. Granted, it was Single-A and Double-A, but hey, 33 bombs in 102 games. I don't care what level it is. That's getting it done.
And just as importantly, you clear with figuring you would have had to pay Parra somewhere between $6-8 million in arbitration next year. And you know what you were going to pay Prado. So that's north of $30 million that you now have to go out this winter and get some pitching, which they have said repeatedly here is priority 1, 2, and 3 this offseason. And also, you free up some time, as Tony La Russa mentioned on the pregame show with Todd Walsh. You free up some spots for David Peralta and Ender Inciarte, who have shown they belong here. Pacheco, left center, McCutchen tracks it down. A quick second for Jeff Locke, who leads it 2-0. Gone, one of the busiest GMs in baseball with us now the last couple of days, Kevin Towers. What was the last few days like for you?
Not a lot of sleep. Had all of our key evaluators in Cincinnati. We didn't actually get out to the game. We had a war room set up with about 4 whiteboards and going over a lot of different scenarios. And then those evaluators traveled with our ball club last night, and we got in around 6:30 this morning over here to the stadium, and pretty active. The last hour and a half was certainly lightning round. I think the fans saw all the major deals that went down, in the last minute, including a couple with us.
You pleased with the way things went down for the Diamondbacks?
Pleased, but in a way, you always want to be a buyer this time. This is the first time we've been a seller, and
sure.
We don't like to be in the position that we're in, but based on where we've been the last 2.5 years, and we felt it was the right time to make this move, and it's showing confidence in guys like David Peralta that's out there in right field, and Jake Lamb and Brandon Drury that we have in AA and A ball at third base. We think are very close. Probably made it a little bit easier to make these moves, and we like the players that we got back.
And you also free up some money to get some pitching in the offseason, correct?
Absolutely. Having some payroll flexibility to maybe address our pitching situation was big, and it's going to create some opportunities for some more of our young guys, if not this year, maybe in September next year. And so far, I've been very pleased with the young players that have come through our system.
We don't want you to give away any organizational secrets, but it's possible to still make a trade from this point forward. A lot of people think that if you don't make a trade by today, you can't make a deal, but that's not the case. And is there a chance that maybe we'll see some more guys out the door?
It's going to be very active. As we acquired Aaron Hill and Johnny McDonald in 2011, there's going to be other contenders who are going to be looking at that trade waiver very closely, and we've got a lot of relievers that a lot of people have interest in. We value them a great deal, so it's probably going to be hard to get many of our players through. The only problem is when somebody claims one of those guys now, that particular team has exclusivity to the player, and if it's the right deal and we think it's a win situation for us and we like the player getting back, I think we're going to have to look at it.
We ran some sound, Kevin, from you earlier this afternoon talking about the prospects that are coming here in return. Can you talk a bit about Haniger and about O'Brien?
Well, I came up in the Padres system with Kevin McReynolds. Not to say that he's going to be Kevin McReynolds, but Haniger's one of those guys, looks like him, body type, was a former high school football player. We liked him a lot out of the draft. Ray Montgomery and our scouts, so we've got a lot of history with him. Probably going to end up in the corners, but a very good offensive player with power and a good hitter.
I saw O'Brien win the home run derby at the Fall League last year. He's got legitimate power.
He's a little bit like Trumbo and Goldie. There's not many ballparks that's going to, hold him when he's at the plate. We think a great offensive player. And together we're going to have him put on that catching gear. I think the Yankees with Murphy, and Sanchez and Romine, they decided to play him in a different position. Play a little bit of first base. He's excited about the opportunity. Go down to Mobile. We'll probably send Bill Plummer in there, spend some time with him. And I had Piazza in San Diego. Wasn't the best receiver, but if they hit, you'll find a place for him, and we're excited to have that type of bat. We think it's an impact offensive bat.
Yeah, it's nice to have that versatility. If the catching thing doesn't work out, it's nice to know that a guy's athletic enough to play other positions.
Could play first. He's played a little bit of outfield. He's put up some pretty remarkable numbers the last couple of years, and talking to some scouts, even from other clubs, and spending that year in 2010 with the Yankees. Still know a lot of people over there, and some of the people that we checked in with their makeup, what this guy could do from an offensive standpoint. Even Brian Cashman himself said, we think this guy could catch. It's just where we had a lot of depth.
Well, they did just give Brian McCann $80 million to catch, so it's not like there's a spot waiting for him.
Exactly.
How difficult is it to trade a fan favorite like Gerardo Parra?
Not easy, and believe me, he was tearing up. Actually, his T-shirt was soaking wet in there as he was hugging players, and I actually teared up. Gerardo's just an incredible young man, and how he connects with our fans. That not many players take the time and spend the time to do that. And I'm happy for him in the way that he's got a chance to go to a first place club here. I don't know if he put a ring on his finger, but his contributions with this organization and with our fan base, and part of that 11 club. Great defender, great kid, but we had him only for another year and a half, and then we didn't know what would take place.
He's going to get a little expensive, certainly. McCutchen hits that one out to right center field. Peralta's there. And Polanco with a leadoff single in the third, back to the bag. So McCutchen so far 0 for 2.
You mentioned talking to the Yankees about the makeup of O'Brien. How important is that nowadays when you talk about making a trade? It's more than just the stats on the sheet.
Absolutely. As you well know, that team chemistry in the clubhouse, and guys that are going to give everything you have and maybe accept a different role that they're accustomed to do, but what's going to do right for the organization. And it's pretty intense up here, and it takes special individuals to be able to handle the peaks and the valleys of Major League Baseball season. Those guys with a good makeup, they find a way to fight themselves out of the tough times, and everything I've heard on this kid is A+.
I always tell people that ask me, it's impossible to really evaluate the Justin Upton trade until you see what Brandon Drury is. And by all indications, he's going to be really something at this level. But at this point in the process and the timeline, how do you evaluate the Upton-Prado deal?
I turned the page personally. I mean, that trade was made a couple years ago, and circumstances are different today than they were back then to make the deal that we did. A lot of people want to focus on it was, Prado, Upton. It's going to take years to find out. Who knows? Drury may end up being the best player of all of them. So, to me, we're in a different situation than we were 2 years ago. Prado was a big part of it, but we still like Delgado. We love Drury. We love Ahmed.
They got Polanco at first. KT, Miguel Montero's defense this year versus last year, we see a night and day difference. What about you?
I think both offensively and defensively. The one thing I'll say about Miggy, even last year during a tough time, he is a true leader. This guy brings energy to the ballpark each and every day. He's a guy that fires our guys up. Incredible. He's having an incredible year right now, and even with today's trade, I think that was the guy that everybody was looking to. How is Miggy reacting, especially moving two of his countrymen? And this guy was, same message. Hey, two of these guys get to go to the Yankees and the Brewers right now. That's where we want to be. The organization felt that this was the right move at the time. We support it. We go out. We play hard. And young players are now going to get opportunities that those guys did at one time in their career. And let's keep our head up and keep fighting.
Looks like Polanco was safe in getting a hand in there to beat the tag. So Quinn Hurdle is challenging, which gives us more time with Kevin Towers here after the non-waiver trade deadline has come and gone. Martin Prado off to the Yankees and Gerardo Parra off to the Milwaukee Brewers. Tony La Russa, KT's talked a lot about the idea of investing in your young players in terms of accumulating them, getting some organizational depth, which mission accomplished here over the last couple of weeks, and also freeing up some money to go get some pitching. It's part of a bigger plan, isn't it? You can't really look at this thing as one deal here and one deal here. You sort of have to look at the whole process, don't you?
Well, our payroll is at an all-time high, and I think we all realize now that we got to get Corbin back healthy again. Archie Bradley, hopefully he's ready, if not by September, early next year. We like Shipley a lot, Blair a lot. Both kids that'll be at Double-A. Pretty close to being ready at the big league level. But having that payroll flexibility to allocate dollars in areas that are more of need right now was important to us. And that's one thing that Tony kept stressing as we all looked at it and went through a pretty good process, I thought, on how do we get back and how do we compete with the Dodgers. When you look at Greinke, you look at Kershaw, you look at Rue. You better have those high-end guys at the top. And with us, it's going to hopefully we develop a couple of those, and hopefully we have the wherewithal to go out and go after a big arm, somebody to kind of head the rotation. And by moving Prado, we got an opportunity to maybe do that.
Polanco takes off. Montero can't get a handle on that one, so Polanco, after the Pirates get the call overturned, steals his 8th base of the year. How are things different at this trade deadline with Tony La Russa now here?
Well, it gives you a different insight, which is nice. Very rarely do you have the opportunity to have your manager up there for 3 or 4 days in a war room as you're going through potential trades and the inside of a manager, because this guy's going to manage that product that you provide him, and what's important, what are the types of guys that you need to be a championship ball club. This guy's been a part of a lot of championship ball clubs. That dynamic very, very rarely, especially a Hall of Fame type manager, never happens. So to have him there in the room, to be listening to what we're doing, and then give his insight on, well, this guy's a nice player, but this is how we're going to win. These are the type. You guys are the experts on the evaluations. I'm telling you what wins. I feel as a manager what I would like to have, and that was very beneficial to us.
2-2 on Neil Walker.
Diamondbacks weren't the only team active at the trade deadline. Were you surprised by any of the other moves? A lot of big names changing teams.
Slow roller. Here comes Nick Ahmed, and there's that arm. Polanco to third.
Very much so. It was actually a lightning round of about 2 hours at the end. It was actually one of the more quieter deadlines. We didn't, there wasn't a lot of dialogue. Talking to other clubs, it was the same thing the last couple of days, but it really picked up at the end. And
You don't often see a team that was in the World Series last year, like the Red Sox, trade virtually their entire rotation.
Well, they're having a down year. I think they've got a similar record of us right now, but I like some of the moves that they made. I like Greg and Joe Kelly and some of the guys that got back. Oakland, talk about movement. Boy, I tell you what, it seems like every time you turn on your TV, they're doing something. Billy Beane's definitely going for it there in Oakland.
Yeah, they are all in, huh?
Absolutely.
Got Lester now. You got Hamill. You got Samardzija. Here's Ike Davis. Seems like there are still a lot of guys on some teams who people thought might get moved but didn't, who are making a lot of money. Does that mean they might pass through waivers here more quickly now that the non-waiver trade deadline is coming down?
The big contracts are usually the ones that float through. Yeah. Very rarely do those guys get claimed.
Ike hits one well the other way, but there's room for Trumbo. Well, Kevin Towers, take a nap or something. You deserve it.
I'm going to do it. Absolutely. First thing I'm
KT, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Zombies are coming back to the ballpark on Saturday, and this time it's a bobblehead. First 20,000 fans at Chase Field on Saturday for the game against the Pirates. Get this D-back zombie bobblehead. This is a rare item and a must-have. Purchase tickets now at dbacks.com, and we'll see you here Saturday so you can get your zombie bobblehead. It's got a lightsaber there. What is the deal?
Oh,
whoa!
Ouch!
It's a little harsh.
I have an issue with that bare foot. I'd really like to see a shoe for myself.
I forgot about your thing with the feet and the whole thing.
Zombie feet are even worse.
David Peralta, 6 up, 6 down so far for Jeff Locke, including 3 strikeouts. Thanks again to Kevin Towers, Diamondbacks GM, for joining us here in that top 3rd inning. It was something to see all the Diamondback decision makers all huddled up with us in Cincinnati.
I had some family in town in Cincinnati. Went to lunch one day at a local restaurant there close to the hotel and walked in, and looked like an organizational meeting broke out. They were all in there having lunch. One of the rare breaks they took from the war room leading up to the trade deadline.
A remarkable day. I can't remember a trade deadline where these types of names all went right on the final day. Last 10 years even. Usually there's a couple of guys, there's a lot of prospects, and some pan out, some don't. But boy, these were some big time guys, and Craig and Cespedes and Lester and Price, and one after the other they were all going. It was remarkable. Peralta reaches down and rolls that one to the hole at first. Locke covers, and that's the first out in the 3rd.
Peralta made it close, busting it down that first baseline. There's always a chance of an infield hit here if you can outrun that pitcher to the base, and especially a left-hander that sometimes falls off to the third base side. That's when you really want to get down that line as quickly as possible. They just did get Peralta at first.
So 7 straight retired by Locke. Here's the shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Nick at .229 on the year. He has hit in 3 straight games, getting his 13th start at shortstop. Didi Gregorius sitting out tonight against the left-hander. And the last 2 months, Diamondbacks are going to be very interesting to watch as some of these young guys get not just looks here, Bob, but extended looks. You're really going to find out what you have heading into the offseason with guys like Nick Ahmed and David Peralta and Ender Inciarte and Jordan Pacheco.
There's an old saying in this game, don't be fooled by what you see in spring training or September. Well, these guys are going to have a chance to play, from the end of July through the end of the season. So that's a little bit more of a testing ground, a little bit more of a sample size to make a judgment on where they fit in moving forward.
How much value is there in that?
Well, I think there's huge value in it. I mean, inevitably, a kid called up from the minor leagues to the major leagues, there's that adjustment period. You're just in a daze. Everything is new. That one pulled down the left field line. Harrison giving it a look. He's going to have just enough room to make the play.
Josh Harrison, they love him in Pittsburgh, and he just showed us another reason why.
Yeah, you don't even know where the clubhouses are. What time does the bus leave for the ballpark? What's the dress code? What's this pitcher have? Who's the best hitter on the other team? There's just so many things that it can be overwhelming as a young player, but with passing time, you tend to settle in a little bit more. The veterans, settle you down a little bit, kind of show you the ropes a little bit, and then you can just focus on playing baseball. So I think that's the biggest advantage that the Diamondbacks have here in the last couple months of this season.
I mean, you're really going to get a pretty good and pretty accurate evaluation of some of these young guys heading into the offseason. Comenter rolls that one right by Locke. Walker tries to make a play, but Colementer's aboard. First base runner for the D-backs against Jeff Locke. Not the hardest ball Josh Comenter will ever hit, but it's a 2-out single.
And, Jeff Locke had not given up a hit yet in the ballgame. He's probably going to be mad at himself. I mentioned he falls off to the third base side just a little bit, and in this case enough that he couldn't reach back to his left and make that play, making it very tough on Neil Walker to try to make the play. That'll go as an infield hit for Josh Comenter.
Good range by Neil Walker, getting well behind the bag at second, but not enough time to get Comenter. Now here's Ender Inciarte. Ender flied out his first time up 0 for 1. This one is smothered by Walker at second, and Inciarte beats it out. A couple of slow rollers to second base by the Diamondbacks have produced a pair of 2-out base runners.
Once again, Walker has to leave his feet to make the play. Maybe not. That could have been an unnecessary dive right there, and it cost him. You can see he fielded that ball up chest high to his left and eventually went down to the ground, and in the time it took him to recover and make the throw, Inciarte beat it out for an infield hit.
Well, Neil Walker showing his range both to his left and his right. But it's a pair of infield singles for the Diamondbacks. 2 on, 2 out for Aaron Hill, who struck out looking his first time. D-bat dog takes about 4 forks to eat that thing. And nice to be settling in for a long homestand. Diamondbacks will play 4 against the Pirates, 3 against the Kansas City Royals, and then 3 against the Rockies. Locked behind on Aaron Hill, 2-0. D-back saw Locke when we were at PNC Park earlier this month, July 1st. He went 8 full innings in that game. Gave up only 2 runs on 8 hits. Got a no decision in what turned out to be a 3-2 D-backs win. That one is bounced Martin has it, and Locke is behind 3-0.
Well, Locke has faced 11 hitters in this game and has thrown ball 1 to 7 of them. But until these 2 infield hits, it's been relatively unscathed. I think that speaks to that straight changeup. Guys that can throw a good straight changeup, if you fall behind 1-0, it's very easy to throw a changeup up there and immediately get back in the count. Hitters aren't looking for it. If they do swing at it, they're probably going to be out front, pull it foul. If they take it, possibly in the strike zone, and now you're right back in the count again.
Well, it was a good example, Bob, of that in the first at bat for Aaron Hill, who had 3 balls and was well ahead in the count before he finally struck out looking. So we'll see how Locke does here, behind once again to Aaron Hill. And there's strike 1. Locke had a rough time of things his previous start. That was Saturday at Colorado. Gave up 6 runs on 10 hits in 6 2/3. He has won just once in his last 5 starts.
Take some kind of a 2-out something from Aaron Hill here to do it, but it sure would be nice to see the Diamondbacks put some runs on the board early in the ball game. In their last 17 games, they've only scored 12 runs in the first 4 innings of ball games. And they have been scoring a lot of runs late, 53 from the 5th inning on, but so many times you fall behind early, puts pressure on the pitching staff, puts pressure on the defense. The offense starts to press a little bit. Nice to get some runs early.
3-2, 2 outs, and the bases are loaded. 2 singles and a walk, all with 2 down, and here comes Goldie.
Well, this is a good way to go about it. Load him up for Goldie.
You've got Josh Colmenter, the runner at third, Ender Inciarte, the tying run at second, Aaron Hill, the go-ahead run at first. All 3 base runners coming with 2 outs. And here's Goldie, who struck out his first time up. Third in the National League in RBIs. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Martin having to work back there. And a first pitch breaking ball from Locke. And again, he's behind 1-0.
A little better approach this inning by Diamondbacks hitters. Locke got through the first 2 innings with 19 pitches combined. He's thrown 20 in this inning already.
And out in front of that one, 2 balls and a strike. Locke now at an even 50 pitches.
Straight changeup. You can see Paul Goldschmidt out in front. Looks like a fastball. Comes floating in there about 10 miles per hour slower than his fastball.
50 pitches, 30 for strikes. Here's the 2-1 to Goldie. 3 balls and a strike. Take the league lead with 1 swing right here.
Yes, he could.
And that apparently has occurred to Russell Martin.
Being so efficient through the first 2. This is his 4th 3-ball count in a row here in this inning.
Colmenter at third and Ciarte at second. Hill at first. 2 down, 3 balls and 1 strike to Goldie. Strike 2.
3-1 changeup. Maybe caught a piece of that bottom of the strike zone right there. That's a good take by Goldie. 3-1. You don't want to swing at a pitch like that. Possibly hit a ground ball and get Locke out of the inning. You got to throw another strike here.
Bases loaded. 2 outs. 3-2. Here it is. We'll do it again.
Inside with a fastball that time. Locked up Goldie just a little bit. That's one thing when a guy features a real good straight changeup, you will occasionally get jammed by fastball because it's always in the back of your mind. He might pull the string and throw that slow one up here. That time Goldie just a little tardy on that 91-mile-an-hour heater.
Runners will be off with a pitch one more time. Goldie strikes out with the bases full, and Locke leaves them loaded. He leads it 2-0.
Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz.
High above Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. Find the Zombie. It's kind of like the new Where's Waldo. Zombie night coming up here Saturday at the ballpark. First 20,000 fans gets the D-backs Zombie bobbleheads. Get your tickets, dbacks.com. And we'll see you down here on Saturday. Make sure you get your Zombie bobble. Good chance for the Diamondbacks there as they get 3 2-out base runners with Goldie at the plate, but cannot get a run across, so it's still 2-0 Pirates as Josh Colmenter is set to start the 4th inning. He'll work to Russell Martin, Pedro Alvarez, and Jordy Mercer 6, 7, and 8 in the Pittsburgh 4th. Bring the whole family out Saturday. Kids would love a Zombie bobblehead. Russell Martin has driven in both Pirate runs, a 2-run double back in the 2nd.
That accounted for the only runs in the ball game so far. Came on a high fastball out over the plate. Martin pulled it back to the gap in left center, and Pirates put 2 on the board. Ike Davis scoring all the way from first base.
So after Colmenter had opened that inning with a base hit to Walker and a walk to Davis, they both scored on the Martin hit, and now he's got to walk that one off. Like that got him in the knee that time. Well, I bet you catch 120, 130 games, something like that. I bet by the time October rolls around, you're not feeling too good. I'm just a hunch. I don't know.
That's a great observation.
Thank you.
I said years ago, somebody asked me, what's it feel like at the end of the season if you're a regular, everyday catcher? I said, you feel kind of like a used car. You know, you're just beat up, and you got wraps on your ankle, you've got bruised toes, you're missing toenails, your fingers are all bent the wrong direction, you got bruises all over your body. But it feels so good.
Well, Josh Colementor has worked it full to the leadoff man here in the fourth. He's already walked 2 in the ball game.
Former big league catcher Ron Hassey, I think, put it best. He says, as a catcher, by the time you figure out what you're supposed to do, you physically can't do it anymore. Ron Hassey, boy, he was really good at handling a pitching staff. Caught a couple of no-hitters at the major league level.
3-2 is sent out to right center. Peralta wants it. Hey fans, it's that time again. Tweet us your fan photo now that we're back home with a hashtag and the Twitter and the whole thing. AZ fan photo. For your chance to have it shown in our broadcast later tonight. Brought to you by AT&T. Who's on the clock tonight? Rodrigo Lopez?
No, Tom Candiotti is back from an extended vacation, and he wants to jump back in. He knows that Digger really had a good road trip, making a strong case. So Candy wants to get back in the mix tonight.
Yeah, the worst part about the road trip was the constant texts from Tom Candiotti while he was vacationing in Tahoe.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And the shift is on for Pedro Alvarez. This is what it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, and particularly I like this move. I like leaving the shortstop on the left side of the infield, since he's the guy that figures to be able to cover the most ground, and move the third baseman over on the pull side of the field.
And also, in a sense, doesn't it leave you one fewer player out of position?
Yep.
In terms of where they normally would be. A jam shot pop up, and there is Nick Ahmed. Well, Alvarez found a way to hit it to the left side, just to not where they wanted. So it's 2 outs in the fourth, and here's Jordy Mercer.
And, you know, that's one of the byproducts of a shift. You hope to get a guy like a Pedro Alvarez to go away from what it is he does well, which is pull the ball in the air to right field. That's when he's at his best. And if you've got him thinking about trying to hit the ball to the opposite field, that's doing something he's not particularly adept at, and that time just a lazy pop up to the left side of the infield.
Mercer, a 5-game hitting streak. He walked his first time up, and this start is starting to follow a familiar pattern with Josh Colementor. We've seen this a number of times. He'll have early trouble and then really settle in. He's retired 5 in a row now. And he might get away with a 1-2-3-4th. Aaron Hill. 6 straight set down by Colementor. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. We'll see Trumbo, Montero, and Pacheco in the fourth.
Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox.
Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. Diamondbacks trail the Pirates 2-0. Sent for the home half of the fourth. Mark Trumbo, Miguel Montero, Jordan Pacheco against Jeff Locke, who so far has struck out 4. He's walked only 1. And give it up just a pair of infield singles. He struck out Goldie with the bases loaded to win the bottom of the third. And here is Mark Trumbo down 0-1. He struck out his first time. So Mark 4 for his last 30 up there. The glove of Alvarez. Talk about a hot shot. Trumbo's aboard. That one just absolutely ate him up. Base hit for Trumbo. Third tonight for the D-backs. Leadoff man aboard in the fourth.
Ball hit that hard. Normally skips and stays low to the ground, but that one came up and just gobbled up Alvarez. You see it hit him on the right hand. Got that bare hand involved there a little bit more than he should have, and just able to slow it down into shallow left field. Ball 91 miles an hour off the Mark Trumbo bat.
A hot corner.
Still shaking that right hand down there.
Miguel Montero, Miggy grounded out his first time. I don't know if he broke his bat. Little jam shot pop up. Walker has it. And that's the first out. Brings up Jordan Pacheco, playing in the field for the first time as a Diamondback. His first start since he's acquired on waivers from Colorado June 12th. Pacheco flying out to center his first time. He returned on the last road trip back from right shoulder tendonitis that had him on the DL. Hadn't played since June 24th. And this is his first start in a D-back uniform. And we may see him for an extended period next 2 months. You figure Cliff Pennington due back soon. Diamondbacks say that Pacheco and Pennington will see most of the time at third base. They also have Andy Marte, who was called up today from Reno, who can play third. Don't forget, this is a guy who 2 years ago played over 130 games for the Rockies and hit .309, so he's got a pretty decent resume.
He's also a guy that Walt Weiss liked to use to play hit and run when he was a member of the Colorado Rockies. He handles the bat well, can drive the ball to the opposite field if that runner's in motion over there at first base. We'll see how the Diamondbacks play it here with 1 out.
Well, 2 years ago, Pacheco led all major league rookies in hitting with that .309 mark, playing primarily at third. He rifles that one down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Harrison has it off the carom. They'll stop Trumbo at third. And Jordan Pacheco is in at second base with his 8th double this year.
Another changeup from Jeff Locke that just kind of strayed over the inside part of the plate. Josh Harrison loses that one out of the webbing of the glove, but Mark Trumbo had already stopped at third base, couldn't regain his momentum quickly enough to try to score.
More on Jordan Pacheco. Let's go down to the field and Cindy Brunson. Cindy.
Thanks so much. I had an opportunity to talk to Jordan in the clubhouse today before the game, and he told me point blank he's not here to be Martin Prado's replacement. He wants to do the best job he can defensively and swing the bat well, which we just saw with his 8th double this season. He also adds that he realizes Cliff Pennington is getting healthier by the day and that he will have help at third base down the road. Guys, back to you.
David Peralta. Thank you, Cindy. Also don't want to forget that the great Eric Chavez announced his retirement today as a major league player after 17 years in the big leagues and I believe 6 gold gloves.
And he can walk away with his head held high. It was unfortunate the way things worked out here in Arizona with the injuries and what have you, but boy, what a career he had.
0-1 to Peralta.
That one got him somewhere in that right arm, maybe right on the elbow.
The 59th batter that the Pirates pitchers have plunked this year. That looked like it got him right on the point of that right elbow.
And so for the second straight inning, the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded, this time with 1 out. And Nick Ahmed, the number 8 hitter, steps in. We've got Mark Trumbo at third, Jordan Pacheco at second, and David Peralta. He would be the go-ahead run at first. 1 down for Ahmed, who flying out his first time.
Oh, by the way, the 59 hit by pitch leading the National League. A lot of those were just against the Cincinnati Reds. They've had some issues, these two teams.
There's the strike, 0-1.
Actually, the 59 is the most in the major leagues.
Nick Ahmed, his second career 2-hit game Monday night. That was his last action. Had a big hit, a 2-out RBI single in the 15th that gave the Diamondbacks the lead for good in that marathon at Great American Ballpark. It's the 0-1 into shallow right. Polanco coming in. Trumbo's at third, and he will bluff. 2 down.
Just not deep enough to try. That combined with the fact that Polanco was coming straight in toward home plate, just wasn't worth the risk.
Well, it's going to be up to Josh Colmenter to try and bang one through the infield here with 2 down and the bases full. Josh had an infield single his first time up. Knocked one right back up the box that snuck by Locke for a base hit. How's this for a contrast? The Diamondbacks had bases loaded, 2 outs in the last inning for Goldie. Now they've got the same deal here in this inning with a pitcher up. Good cut by Colmenter, but he's down 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pirates took a 2-0 lead in the second. Russell Martin a 2-run double. Diamondbacks a chance to answer here in the fourth. After leaving the bases loaded in the third when Goldie struck out with 2 down. 2-2 to Colmenter. Bounce to third. Alvarez. Another throwing issue for Pedro Alvarez, and the Diamondbacks tie the ball game. Pedro Alvarez has been at times a disaster down there at third defensively. It's been an ongoing issue, and it just cost the Pirates a 2-0 lead.
Get another look at it on the replay. I'm not so sure this was all Alvarez's fault. It looked like the throw got over there in the air. He really takes his time and winds up and fires a rocket over there. No, I stand corrected. It was a short hop over there to Ike Davis, although I'm sure Ike Davis would tell you he should handle this one. Oh, no, it did get there in the air. Hit him right in the glove. Not a great throw on the part of Alvarez, but a throw that needs to be caught over there at first base.
That is E5, the error on Alvarez. He now by far leads the major leagues with 24 errors, 22 of those have come when he throws the ball. 22 throwing errors at third base. And now it's a 2-2 ball game. Remember also that Alvarez took that hot shot off the hand earlier in the ball game.
That's a good point.
And now they've just changed it. They had E5 up there. Now they have given the error to Ike Davis at first. So doesn't change the fact that Alvarez threw it right at the feet of Davis. So now 23 errors. Alvarez's total remains the same, and they changed that from E5 to E3, so that's on the first baseman, Ike Davis.
Yeah, you wonder how much that Mark Trumbo ground ball that bit him in that right hand affected that throw right there. He's been shaking his hand down there the whole inning.
And that led off the inning. Ike Davis fields that one cleanly, beats Inciarte to the bag, but the Diamondbacks come through with the bases loaded with a little help from that Pirate defense, and now we're all tied through 4 at Chase. And Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 offers one of baseball's best rivalries as Derek Jeter, Martin Prado, and the Yankees head to Fenway Park to take on, well, let's see, Yoenis Cespedes, Alan Craig, and the Boston Red Sox. That all sounds weird, doesn't it? Special coverage begins at noon only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So Martin Prado will join Brandon McCarthy in Yankee pinstripes. Josh Colmanter back out there for the 5th. He had a 35-pitch second inning. But other than that, has been very consistent. 11 pitches in the first, 15 in the third, 13 in the fourth, and he's thrown 13 of 17 first-pitch strikes. So he is settling in. He's retired 6 in a row, and Jeff Locke, the pitcher, leads off the Pirate 5th. As soon as Alvarez kind of set himself on that throw, and you could see him thinking about it for a split second, that's where he has what they're calling the thing, which is that thing that you get when you can't throw it across the diamond, right? We've seen that in Chuck Knobloch and even Steve Blass. It's funny, for pitchers that can't find the strike zone, they call it Steve Blass disease.
Yeah. Golfers call it the yips. You could see him readjusting the ball, making sure he had a good grip. Everything was perfect, and then he just fires it across their ankle high to Ike Davis. Probably should have made the play, and Davis was ultimately hung with the air. But with that much time and the pitcher running down the first baseline, that should be a chest-high throw across the diamond every time.
23 errors, 21 of those coming when he throws the baseball. Josh Harrison. Colmanter strikes out Locke. Now he jumps ahead of Harrison 0-1. Harrison so far struck out twice. They have tried, the Pirates say, to filter people that talk to Alvarez about this thing, because this is the kind of thing where suddenly everybody has a tip or a piece of advice for him, and then suddenly he's got 30 people talking to him about how to fix this. So they've tried to filter that a bit and make sure that he's still just hearing the voices of the coaching staff and not from 30 different people. It's like on the golf course. Well, your elbow and your front leg and all that stuff. Another strikeout for Coleman to that number 4.
Three at bats, 3 punch outs for the All-Star Josh Harrison tonight. Just not picking the ball well at all from Coleman tonight. Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Gregory Polanco singled and stole a base his last time up, 1 for 2. Polanco going through his first slump in the big leagues after that sensational start when he was first called up. Right back to the mound. And a quick 5th for Josh Coleman, who has now retired 9 in a row. It's a 9-pitch inning, and we're tied at 2. Downtown Phoenix, our Chevron upcoming matchup. Back with you tomorrow here on Fox Sports Arizona. Game 2 of this 4-game set. 3-game show starts at 6. Diamondbacks live. Edinson Volquez for the Pirates, and Vidal Nuno for the Diamondbacks. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, Mark Trumbo, 2, 3, and 4 against Jeff Locke in the Diamondback 5th. Behind Glenn Sherlock. Good to be high above the Wetzel's Pretzel stand here at Chase Field.
Well, you can tell by the aroma when they're fresh out of the oven.
Oh, it's great. Great addition to the ballpark here this year. Aaron quickly down 0-2. He has struck out and walked so far 0 for 1 against Jeff Locke. Jeff Locke was an all-star last year. He began this season on the DL, had a strained right oblique, kept him out of most of spring training. He missed 3 weeks and so was way behind to start the year. He was sent to AAA Indianapolis once he came off the DL, and then didn't get to the big leagues until May 5th. And he strikes out Hill for the second time tonight. He has struck out Goldie twice tonight in both at bats so far.
Locke started this season with a shaky outing against the San Francisco Giants, gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3, and his last time out against Colorado Rockies, they banged him around for 10 hits and 6 runs in 6 2/3. In between 8 quality starts for Jeff Locke.
That's been a funny year for him. Once he did finally get up to the big leagues, as Bob mentioned, only got one start. Didn't go well. Then he went back to the minors for a full month. And then was recalled the first week of June. And since he's been back, 2-2 over 9 starts with a 2.98 ERA. So for the most part, he's pitched well.
And the Diamondbacks saw him well earlier this month. 8 innings, gave up 8 hits and 2 runs in that game. He came away with a no decision. That was a 3-2 Pirates victory that night.
He had a funny year last year. He was the Pirates' best starting pitcher before the break, and then was their worst starting pitcher after it. Everything just kind of went wrong for him. He was 8-2 at the All-Star break last year, had a 2.15 ERA. But then for some reason pitched nowhere near that level in the second half of the year. Had a back injury. Goldie, base hit to right.
Took a curveball that was down and in, probably off the plate down and in, and really worked it back to the right side of the infield for his first knock of the game.
Goldie 1 for 3. Mark Trumbo singled and scored his last time up. Hit a shot. Absolute rocket that ate up Alvarez at third. Well, you said it, Bob. This is right about the time where things get going offensively. Any idea what you might attribute that to?
I mean, you can come up with a lot of different theories. I mean, the Diamondbacks come out every day, almost every day. There's a number of guys that take early batting practice, and then they have their regular batting practice session. And then the visiting team takes their batting practice. There's a lot of downtime between the end of the D-backs batting practice and the start of the ball game. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of the guys take advantage of that time to go to the cage, get a few swings in before they come out and get ready to play the ball game. But, one theory is just too much elapsed time from the warm-up and practice for the game and the game itself.
Like when you go out to the practice tee a little too early, then you go inside and have a drink or two, and then you go out for your round, and things don't go quite as well.
Geez, I was really hitting them well on the range. What happened?
2 balls and 1 strike to Mark Trumbo. Pirates took a 2-0 lead in the second. Russell Martin a 2-run double. Diamondbacks answered in the bottom of the 4th. A low throw on a ground ball from Pedro Alvarez to Ike Davis that scored 2 runs. They gave the error to Davis, the first baseman. 2-1 is upstairs, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Trumbo. "14 games since Mark returned from that broken left foot. 14 games and 12 starts, and since he's been back, he's hit 157 with 1 extra base hit. So looking to get him going here on this homestand. 3-1 is in there, and it's full, 3-2. I'm not quite sure where that was, Pat Hoberg, but he says it's a strike. Seen him call the low strike, the really low strike tonight. That one appeared to be up a bit. Three balls, 2 strikes. Paul Goldschmidt, the runner at first. Ball 4. Second walk tonight issued by Jeff Locke.
Jeff Locke is a little different from your average lefty. He likes to throw that fastball inside to the right-handed hitters. A lot of lefties just try to sink it away, throw 4-seamers away from right-handed hitters, but even in counts when the hitter has the count in his favor, he likes to pound that fastball inside.
Two on, 1 out for Miguel Montero, 0 for 2. Why is it that lefties don't like to come inside to right-hand hitters?
Well, they've probably given up some long bombs on fastballs in. I mean, especially guys that don't have enough giddy up to throw that fastball on the inside corner successfully. But Locke, he's a little deceptive. We talked about his delivery, kind of hiding the ball, turning his back on the hitter a little bit, and it makes that fastball a little sneakier. So he's confident to throw it inside to righties.
Miggy chops it the other way, drifting near the seats. And Alvarez makes a nice play for the second out. And we'll bring up Jordan Pacheco. Here's Diamondbacks hitting coach Turner Ward on Jordan Pacheco.
You know, Jordan's a line drive hitter. We've had a lot of experience watching him, of course, with the Rockies. You know, he's a good, solid line drive hitter who uses the whole field. He's uses usually the big part of the field, middle part of the field, and tries to, you know, he's a contact hitter. So he's been out for a while, so we're really anxious to kind of get a good look at him.
As are we. Turner back from right shoulder tendonitis. He doubled and scored in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2, making his first start as a Diamondback. He has gone 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter so far, coming into tonight's ball game. Pacheco, well hit. That drops in front of Harrison. Here comes Goldie. Diamondbacks have the lead. 3-2. Jordan Pacheco opens his D-backs account with his second hit tonight.
Big 2-out base hit right there. An off-speed pitch right in the middle of the plate, able to keep it fair into left field. Josh Harrison got to it quickly, but Paul Goldschmidt, with 2 outs in the inning, got a great jump out there at second base and scores easily at home plate in front of the throw.
Pacheco doubled and scored in the 4th. Now a big 2-out RBI single in the 5th has given the Diamondbacks a 3-2 lead. A chance now for David Peralta, who was hit on that right elbow his last time up. Well, I think there's a decent chance, and it's maybe a little overly optimistic here, but I think there's a decent chance that over the final 2 months or whatever's left, that Jordan Pacheco gives you right about in the same neighborhood in terms of offensive production that you would have gotten from Martin Prado. Ballpark. Locke now at 90 pitches, 57 for strikes. 2 on, 2 out, a run in.
Generally, when you see a middle infielder initiate a meeting on the mound with a runner at second base, they're changing the signs. Jordy Mercer's been standing out there at his shortstop position, and now it's Mark Trumbo at second base for the Diamondbacks looking in at the signs. And maybe Jordan Mercer suspected during this inning Paul Goldschmidt was looking in. Now Mark Trumbo looking in. Maybe it's time to change up the signs, go with a different sequence back there just to make sure the Diamondbacks aren't garnering anything from the signs.
Mark Trumbo on second, Jordan Pacheco at first. 2 down, a ball and a strike to Peralta. Bounced in a hole. Davis over there to cut it off. It's a foot race to the bag, and the Pirate first baseman wins. But the Diamondbacks take a 3-2 lead on Jordan Pacheco's RBI single. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The reigning NL MVP leads off the Pirates 6th. By Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores is headed to Chase Field for a D-backs game August 24th, and you can be on board. Just stop by this month's participating Fry's Food Store in Prescott Valley, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. All the info you need is at foxsportsarizona.com. Andrew McCutchen, who's 0 for 2, leads off the Pirates' 6th against Josh Colmenter, who has retired the last 9 Pirates he's faced. McCutchen is flat out twice, and 304 on the year. Came into the ball game 5th in the National League in hitting, and tied for 5th in RBIs. But the bat for McCutchen has been quiet as of late. Just 3 hits in his last 31 ABs. Colmenter falls behind 3-1. Andrew McCutchen, reigning NL MVP, just the 7th Pirate ever to get a starting nod from the fan voting in the All-Star game. The first Pirate starter since Jason Bay back in 06. Three-2 is fouled down the first baseline. Head-to-head, it's remarkable, Bob, how similar these guys are statistically.
Oh, it really is. I mean, physically, very different. Goldie a lot taller, a lot heavier. McCutchen a lot faster, but man, do they put up nearly identical numbers.
McCutchen, his OPS 4th in the league, just 1 spot behind Goldschmidt. Another 3-2 from Josh Colmenter. Autograph alley here at the ballpark. There's a signed Andrew McCutchen photo. All kinds of items down there. A photo from the Pine Tar game. Had half of the guys in that shot in our booth in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench, kind enough to join us the other night. That was a lot of fun. First test over there for Pacheco. 10 straight set down by Colmenter.
There's that ball on the backhand side so he could get his momentum kind of going toward first base. A couple of crow hops and then fires it across in plenty of time for the out.
The switch hitter Neil Walker singled and scored in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. First pitch, drives it to right center near the pool. And gone. Neil Walker, his 16th, and we're tied at 3.
You know, coming into a series, partner, it's easy to look at an opposing lineup and say, oh, be careful with McCutchen, be careful with Russell Martin, be careful with Alvarez. But right now, Neil Walker's the guy you have to watch out for. A couple of hits in the ball game here tonight. He's hitting .360 since the All-Star break, now with 3 home runs.
Well, he's a switch hitter now with 16 homers, 15 from the left-hand side. Drill that one into the ramtruck.com pool area. Colmenter upset. That's the 14th homer that Josh has given up this year. And it's a 3-3 ball game in the 6th. 16 homers for Walker. That ties a career high. Kirk Gibson will make the move right here. And he's got Ike Davis, the left-hand hitter, coming up, so he'll go to the lefty Oliver Perez, and that's it for Colmenter. Pitching change, tie game at Chase. Back after this. only 4 base hits tonight, but one of them a Neil Walker home run, and that's the last pitch he'll throw here against the Pirates. Left-hand hitting Ike Davis was scheduled up for the Pirates, so Kirk Gibson making the move to the bullpen to go to the left-hander Oliver Perez. Pirates have that left-right platoon at first base, so Clint Hurdle will counter. Davis has been recalled, and the right-hand hitting Gabby Sanchez will take the at-bat.
Very quick move by Clint Hurdle to replace Ike Davis with Gabby Sanchez. Sanchez in 3 previous at-bats against Oliver Perez, 2 hits including a home run.
Gabby Sanchez is the right-hand hitting portion of this first base situation with Davis working from the left side. Sanchez just over 250 versus left-hand pitchers this year. He's been an effective pinch hitter off the bench for Clint Hurdle. 9 for 34, including 5 doubles and a homer. .225 for the year, 5 home runs. He has not hit a home run since May 26th. That was 46 games ago. But less than half of those games have been starts.
And this is an area where the Pirates have excelled this year. They lead the majors in hits off the bench. 42 pinch hits this year, 1 ahead of the Diamondbacks, 2 ahead of the Rockies.
Well, Hurdle wants to know if that had hit him in the foot.
On the foot.
He's barking at Pat Hoberg behind the plate. Hit by pitch is subject to review. And Hurdle insisting that that hit Sanchez in the foot.
And you may ask yourself, well, why wouldn't Sanchez put up more of an argument right there? A lot of hitters don't want to take a hit by pitch. They'd rather get their swings in. He's ahead in the count 2-0 against a lefty he's had success against. I'm not so sure Sanchez wants to take a hit by pitch.
Apparently, as Hurdle was looking into the dugout, he got the thumbs down sign, so Sanchez will step in there. 2 balls and no strikes.
I don't think it did hit him.
I think it might have hit him after it hit the ground, actually. 3-0 now. Sanchez, the playing time has been sporadic. It's kind of a bog of muck for these guys down at first that never did settle that situation. Last year they went out and got Justin Morneau, who played the last month for the Pirates, helped them get into the postseason. And they didn't really have an answer going into this year, and they've had a couple of guys down there, and after getting Ike Davis about 3 weeks into the year, they've gone with this Davis-Sanchez situation, which is, yeah, it's been okay, not great. They have not gotten a lot of power production from the position, even when you combine the 2 guys. 3-2 now. All 4.
Drop down slider that time, just off the inside corner. Perez really wanted that pitch.
Brings up Russell Martin, the catcher. 2-run double in the second. He's 1 for 2. And 5 for 11 career against the former Pirate Oliver Perez. There's a strike, 0-1.
There's that quick pitch delivery from Ollie. Just comes set and just very quickly goes into his slide step and fires that fastball in there. The hitter just didn't. I mean, he's done it to a lot of guys, not just Russell Martin, to sneak that first pitch in there before they're even ready for it.
Quick set that time, and he fires it in for strike 2. Is that hard to catch, do you think?
No, not really. Not really. It's more of an issue for the hitter, you know, because every hitter has a little bit of a mechanism to load and get your weight on the backside, get your hands into a hitting position. And when the pitcher delivers the ball that quickly, you tend to try to rush to catch up. It's not so hard on the catcher. It's especially if you know he's going to do it. And Ollie Perez has done it repeatedly all season long, and then many times he'll come right back with the Louis Tiant delivery and turn his back, look up in the upper deck, look at the scoreboard, look over to the bench, and then throw the ball home.
And a great signing for Kevin Towers. Gave Perez a 2-year deal, and he has been very effective onto this bullpen. This is there. It's 2-2. In fact, whole Diamondback bullpen has been very effective last few weeks. This is a guy a lot of people thought the Diamondbacks might move at the deadline today. But thankfully, he's still here.
Now, since the All-Star break, the Diamondbacks bullpen has thrown 44 1/3 innings and struck out 45 over that time.
Well, he walked Sanchez, and now he's gone full 3-2 on Martin. To short. Ahmed. That's all they'll get. Abby Sanchez was coming in there right at the D-backs second baseman.
One of the prerequisites for a double play is a hard hit ball, and that ball just wasn't hit hard enough. 3 or 4 hopper right to Nick Ahmed, but just not enough time to turn it.
Very good matchup for the Diamondbacks right here. Pedro Alvarez, who has never really hit lefties, batting under $170 this year versus left-hand pitching. Martin is the runner at first now with 2 outs. .167 versus left-hand pitchers this year, with this guy being a franchise cornerstone. Power hitting third baseman. You can't worry about platooning him, but that's the dilemma that they're looking at here with Pedro Alvarez. Against some really good lefties, he's a guy they have to sit. And considering he was the 2nd overall pick in the 08 draft out of Vanderbilt, that's not what you're looking for. This is inside there. 2-1. Hughes is throwing for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
A couple spots away from the pitcher spot here with 2 outs in the inning, but just in case the Pirates want to get that bullpen going.
That is just foul the other way. And Rosewitz's long run down there. Alvarez will get a new bat.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game. Tonight's contestant was a finalist for the Sanderson Ford at the end of the season.
Ooh.
Yeah, also got an A.J. Pollock game piece. Remember him, A.J. Pollock?
I sure do.
Boy,
I really miss him. It was something to watch him develop into an all-star caliber player. Shoots it the other way, and that drops into left. Martin stops at second, so a rare base hit against a lefty for Pedro Alvarez.
The broken bat ground ball down the third base side was an accident. I'm pretty sure this base hit to left field was an accident. It looked like Alvarez's head was moving toward right field expecting a pull. Instead, he shot that ball down the left field line for a 2-out single.
Now, this is where the Diamondbacks have to be careful. Monty Karki will come out and talk to Oliver Perez because you've got the red-hot Jordy Mercer up there. Matt Stites, the right-hander, warming of the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Mercer has walked and popped up, but he comes into the ball game with a 5-game hitting streak, including a home run yesterday off Tim Lincecum in San Francisco. 2 on, 2 out. Locke, the pitcher, is on deck, and he's out there. And Trucks.com pool, we saw Neil Walker hit one out there. His 16th home run earlier in this inning. Tied the ball game at 3, and now Oliver Perez trying to get out of a 2 on, 2 out jam. Jordy Mercer got off to a dreadful start. 11 hits in 66 at bats in April. That's tough. Only 1 extra base hit, but he has crawled his way out of it. And for the most part, the average has gone up every month and hitting nearly .330 in July. One. Russell Martin is the runner at second. Pedro Alvarez at first. So far, Perez has thrown more balls than strikes. The shimmy and the shake. Near the seats. 1-2. Jordy Mercer, Oklahoma State Cowboy, 3rd round pick by the Pirates in the 08 draft. Well, he's getting a little rattled out there tonight. Frustrated.
He's just having trouble consistently keeping that slider in and around the plate. He's missed off the plate, down and into right-handed hitters, away from the lefties.
Center field, Ender Inciarte has room. Oliver Perez strands 2, but Walker homers to tie it at 3. You can find FoxSportsArizona.com analyzing a remarkable Non-waiver trade deadline day around the major leagues. Camp starts for both ASU and U of A football, and Patrick Peterson's big aspirations on there at Fox Sports Arizona.com. This was a remarkable day. David Price, let's start here. A 3-team trade that sends David Price to Detroit. It seems like if you've won a Cy Young, Bob, or an MVP in the last 3-4 years, you're in Detroit.
Certainly it makes it a formidable rotation, to say the least, in the Motor City with Verlander and Scherzer, now David Price. And we didn't even mention Rick Porcello, who talked about it during the series against the Tigers earlier, kind of under the radar, really good.
Nick Ahmed will lead off the 6th inning. Andy Marte, who just got called up today, he's in the on-deck circle for the Diamondbacks, and this is a big moment for Andy Marte. Very good defensive third baseman, but he has not had a major league at bat since 2010. So for the first time in nearly 4 years, Andy Marte will step in. Base hit for Nick Ahmed. Here comes the veteran Andy Marte, his first major league appearance since he was with Cleveland in the 2010 season. Marte, 102 games with AAA Reno this year, put up some big offensive numbers. He hit .330. 13 homers, drove in 62 runs. But in 6 seasons in the major leagues, 1 with Atlanta, 5 with Cleveland, he is a career .218 hitter. His first at bat in the major leagues in nearly 4 years. You see big numbers like that, Bob, at Reno, a guy that has hit under .220 over the course of a decent enough major league sample size. Then you look at him at Reno, he's hitting .330, he's driven in 62 runs. How much of that is the ballpark, the elevation, the Pacific Coast League?
Well, that's where you need your staff down there in Reno, along with your scouts who watch how Marte went about compiling those numbers. I mean, it could be legit. We always say you have to take the numbers in the Coast League with a grain of salt, but there have been guys that hit .330 in Pacific Coast League and came to the big leagues and hit .330. So it's really dependent.
Locke keeping Ahmed close to the bag, down at first, now knocking on the door of 100 pitches. Evan Marshall warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. It's this up in the air to left field. Gone! Andy Marte, his first major league at bat in nearly 4 years. And it's a 2-run homer. 5-3 D-backs. Wow. At Reno, but he elevated that one right out of here.
Yeah, that's a home run here in Arizona. It might have gone 10 rows deeper in Reno, but it still puts 2 runs on the board for the Diamondbacks. Wow, welcome back.
His first major league at bat since the 2010 season, and he homers. He didn't even get to the ballpark and get dressed until the 2nd inning. That's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. And Ciarte. Right to Mercer at short, 1 away. He showed you earlier in the ball game when Andy Marte arrived, the game had already started.
He'll probably get fined for being late to the ball game, but will get pardoned here after the 2-run homer.
How about that?
And the Diamondbacks continue to Get hits off the bench. Pinch hitters doing an outstanding job for the Diamondbacks this year.
So it's a 5-3 ball game, one away now. Locke about to throw pitch number 100. What a moment for Andy Marte. Andy Marte, when he was first coming up, was a very highly rated prospect. He's got an excellent glove at third. From the Dominican Republic, first signed by the Braves in 2000. Bumped around. He was involved in a trade with the Red Sox for Edgar Renteria. Traded to Cleveland about a month later in a big deal involving Coco Crisp, among others. He was actually one time with the Pirates, Angels, and now the Diamondbacks.
Anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, we just saw not too long ago in Philadelphia, Alfredo Marte at a pinch hit grand slam. Now Andy Marte, no relation. A pinch hit home run here, Chase.
Check the media guide, see if we have any more Martes down in the minor leagues.
Find one, will you? Get him up here. Aaron Hill, that ball is gone, home run. Aaron Hill's 9th, and it's 6-3 D-backs.
Looking bad on the previous pitch, a changeup low and away, absolutely ropes this one into the Diamondbacks bullpen right down that left field line, and now Clint Hurdle makes a change, maybe a little bit too late.
The 104th pitch from Jeff Locke will be his final one tonight. We will take a break. Diamondbacks have a 6-3 lead. From AAA Reno, last time he had a major league at bat was October 3rd, 2010. And he homers in his first at bat as a Diamondback. He is our APS Energy All-Star. Aaron Hill has followed up with a home run. And now both starting pitchers, Josh Colmenter and Jeff Locke, out of the game. Both guys, the final pitch they threw tonight, hit for home runs. And so Clint Hurdle will go to a guy who has not given up a home run over his last 20 appearances. It's Jenmar Gomez.
Yeah, and the reason I said Clint Hurdle may be a little late making this change, and I've been in this situation before. You've got the number 9 spot due to lead it off in the top of the 7th for the Pirates. You'd like to nurse that pitcher through one more inning and then pinch hit for him to lead off the 7th inning. But unfortunately, that effort to nurse Jeff Locke through one more inning cost the Pirates 3 runs.
Goldie, who struck out with the bases loaded to end the 3rd. He singled and scored his last time up. That's a foul ball. Just looking through the game logs here at Andy Marte and going through his timeline. The last time he hit a home run in the major league, September 8th, 2010 at Anaheim.
He was due.
I'll say so.
Well, good for Andy. Way to make yourself right at home. First day back. Got to the ballpark late, was introducing himself to some of his teammates he hasn't seen for a while, and gets an at-bat in the game and puts it up in the seats.
And you saw Didi Gregorius right there with Andy Marte. There are 2 guys who both homered in their first at-bats as Diamondbacks. Remember, Didi went yard at Yankee Stadium last year. There's Roger Kieschnick right behind Andy Marte. Both those guys arrived today from Reno. Goldie hammers this to right center field. McCutchen tracks it down. I don't think you can hit a ball any farther in this ballpark and have it stay in.
Yeah, unfortunately, hit it right out there to one of the 2 deepest parts of the park. It's 413 to the left and right of straightaway center here at Chase Field. And boy, with the speed that guy possesses, he can close a gap in a hurry.
And that in large part, according to the writers, looks like he hit the wall pretty hard there, is one reason why McCutchen did get all those first place votes in last year's MVP award, because of the position he plays. And that's the logic in a lot of the writers. They'll tell you that he plays a premier defensive spot, center field. You can argue more defensively critical than first base, and so he was given more credit for that, and that led to all those first place MVP votes, at least in part. Trumbo pops that one up. McCutchen wants this one in left center field. Andy Marte, he arrived after the game started, and now he's just the 8th Diamondback to hit a home run in his first at bat as a D-back. It's 6-3.
Mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit dbacks.com today.
Well, BB, how about this? We have Miss Arizona, Mrs. Arizona, and Miss Teen Arizona all sitting together.
Wow.
How do we get seats in that section?
That's a lot of royalty right there.
Thanks for coming.
Where's Mr. Arizona? He's taking pictures.
Rookie right-hander Evan Marshall out for the 33rd time this year. He'll open the 7th for the Diamondbacks and work to the pinch hitter. Michael Martinez, the former Philly, will hit for the pitcher. So Martinez, Harrison, Polanco, 9-1-2 here in the Pittsburgh 7th. D-backs, couple of home runs in the 6th inning. 2-run shot by Andy Marte. Solo homer by Aaron Hill. Made it 6-3. Now here is Michael Martinez. Called up from the minor leagues on July 6th. He's had only 2 base hits all year. Here's the strike, 0-1. Michael Martinez has played the last 3 seasons with the Phillies, never hitting over 200 during that time. Most of it spent in the minor leagues. Josh Colmanter tonight, 5 1/3. He retired 10 of the last 11 he faced. Gave up 3 runs on just 4 hits. Oliver Perez got the final 2 outs of the 6th, and now Marshall here to open the 7th. Two and two. D-backs opening and closing the month of July against these Pirates. Pittsburgh won 2 of 3 at PNC Park when we were there earlier this year, right at the beginning of July. 3 and 2 now. Pirates 8 and 4 since the All-Star break. Josh Harrison on deck. He has struck out all 3 times he's been up. Bounce to short. Nick Ahmed. 1 away. Now here's Harrison. He has hit a home run in his last 4 ball games, but he has struck out in his last 3 at bats. 0 for 3. Last Pirate a homer in 5 straight, Jose Castillo in 2006. Boy, those gloves they're burning my retinas.
Glow in the dark.
He swung like that all night. Some sunglasses.
He just hasn't made a lot of contact tonight. I mean, he's swung a lot, but I think he's only fouled off a couple of pitches. He's been swinging right through everything.
Case in point, 0-2. I guess when you hit homers in 4 straight games, maybe you get a little carried away with things.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just pulling his head off a little bit. He's seen 17 pitches in this ball game. He's swung and missed 7 times, and that's his 3rd foul ball.
A National League All-Star this year. Guy that can play 3rd base one day and hit 6th, play 2nd base the next day, hit 5th, hit 2nd the day after that. While playing left field, he can play everywhere. And he strikes out tonight for the 4th time in 4 at bats.
Must be the heat. He just throws a sinker right by him in the middle of the plate right there. Josh Harrison, normally a good contact hitter. Maybe the home runs are affecting his swing a little bit. Sometimes you get a little crazy. You start hitting the ball out of the ballpark, swinging a little harder than you normally do. But for whatever reason, Josh Harrison off his game tonight.
Well, here's a guy that's been on a learning curve as of late. The rookie Gregory Polanco. A single and a stolen base in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. Polanco going through the first slump in the big leagues for him after that great start when he was first called up. And Clint Hurdle was joking around and said, yeah, he had it all figured out the first 10 days he was here. At least according to everything Hurdle read, he said. But now he says the league is pushing back.
The league has a tendency to do that.
Well, he made a lot of headlines there as Pimentel, the right-hander, warms up for the Pirates. Polanco hit about .340 over his first 2 weeks. But a whole lot quieter since last 27 games. He's hitting only about $180. And the biggest adjustment has been all the off-speed pitches suddenly. Oh, the guy can hit a fastball, all right. Let's start spinning it up there a bit on him, and that's been the adjustment. A lot of breaking balls from both right-handers and lefties. Shoots that the other way, down the line, a fair ball. Trumbo plays it off the carom, and Gregory Polanco has his third double. He's 2 for 4.
Center fielder Andrew McCutchen.
Andrew McCutchen 0 for 3. And just 3 for his last 32.
Like I mentioned earlier in the ballgame, normally when you play the Pirates, a situation like this, Andrew McCutchen at the plate, you've got a base open, you're up by 3. Be real careful with Andrew McCutchen, but the guy in the on-deck circle is a hotter hitter right now.
Homered into the pool in his last at bat, Neil Walker.
Yeah, so you want to try to make quality pitches here to Andrew McCutchen and ideally get him out to end the inning and have Neil Walker up there leading off with nobody on base in the 8th.
Well, a good start for Marshall, who jumps ahead 0-1. McCutchen has twice flied out. He grounded out to third his last time up. Base hit into center. Here comes Polanco with that good speed. Throw from Inciarte is cut off, and it's a 6-4 ball game. RBI 64 for the reigning NL MVP.
Just out of the reach of Nick Ahmed, and with Polanco's speed, he's going to score easily. And now you've got to deal with Neil Walker. Homered in his last at bat, singled and scored back in that second inning ahead of the Russell Martin double.
Homer is 16th of the year, a career high. Knocked it right into the Ram Trucks downtown pool area out there. It was the last pitch that Josh Colmenter threw tonight. Hanging nothing ball. He's got that curveball up. There's a strike to Walker, 0-1. This is a guy having perhaps the best year of his career. He's a Pittsburgh native, popular guy back home. They call him the Mayor. Big football star in high school in Pennsylvania. That's no small thing out there. 1-1. Our director, Mitch Riggin, has a guy named Walker at the plate and then shows a shot of a guy with a Texas shirt. Walker, Texas Ranger.
Okay.
Brains are spilling out all over the truck.
I need some help from time to time. Most of the time.
Well, we saw this in Cincinnati with the flashes and the whole thing on the phones. Those two guys trying to get it started here. And it's catching on. Guy in the Yankee hat just going to leave his on. He said when we were at Great American Ballpark, they had not seen that before. It was something new that started while we were there.
Viral. Right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
nice work. Yeah. It's gone viral. So you and Ken Phelps have been working together on some pop culture, current event type things.
Helping Digger with that interweb.
Digger, they got this thing called the internet. Wow. 1-2. There goes McCutchen. That one is chopped foul. McCutchen, an excellent base stealer. He's stolen 17 and been caught only one time this year. It's a decent percentage. There they are, 1-2 in last year's NL MVP voting. Getting a look at these guys. Head-to-head in a 4-game series, all 4 games for you here on Fox Sports Arizona. That one's in the dirt, 2-2 now.
You notice Miggy came up ready to throw right there. Good base runners, when they read the trajectory of the pitch, they see it's going to be in the dirt. Sometimes they'll take that extra step or two towards second base, anticipating a wild pitch. And so Miggy picked it clean out of the dirt and came up ready to throw to first, just in case McCutchen strayed too far away.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. McCutchen bluffs it first, and a walker strikes out. And that'll end the inning. But the Pirates get a pair of 2-out hits. They get a run. It's a 6-4 ball game. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Joe Borowski is back. The pride of Bayonne when we come back.
Walk, boom, up, down. Now bring your arms, start swaying your arms from the side to left as if you're going. You're marching. March, just march, yeah.
Marching.
Yeah, right. All right. Okay, good. So we'll walk for 4.
Do you feel more like a man?
I think this should be Joe. Joe Borowski, Todd Walsh, the cast of Jersey Boys here. That was embarrassing.
There was no formal dance training on my part whatsoever.
You'd never be able to tell.
The funny thing is when we went in there, I told him I can already walk, but obviously I can't because that was atrocious.
Walk like a man. That's it. Did you get to see the production at least?
No, I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm going to have a chance to see it on Sunday night, their last night here in Arizona, and those guys couldn't be more nice. They were just a great group of guys. They spent a long time with Todd and I, and it was fun. It was really cool to watch everything that goes on behind the scenes of what they put out there, and it's a fantastic show.
Because you're the genuine article. You're a Jersey boy.
Yeah.
So.
I do claim I am from Jersey. You know, I'm not trying to distance myself, even though I live in Arizona now. I do have my roots in Jersey.
Sully Pimentel is on to work the 7th against Miguel Montero, Jordan Pacheco, and David Peralta. Diamondbacks have a 6-4 lead here. And Joe Borowski is with us. Here in the booth, what'd you think of all the trade deadline activity?
A lot of stuff going on. What I was more impressed with and what really stuck out in my mind was all the major league players for each other. A lot of times you see major league players for prospects, and you see that a lot. But there was a lot of across-the-board guys who are in the big leagues getting traded for each other.
Big names, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about John Lester and David Price and John Lackey and Asdrubal Cabrera and on and on and on. It was an amazing day.
And a lot of that has to do with when you add those wild cards, teams are still in the mix, and it just makes for exciting baseball.
I think it's funny that the Tigers, who are in the AL Central, look at the A's, who are in the AL West, and they say, okay, well, the A's went out and got Samardzija, and they got Hamill. Now they got Lester, so they're all in. Decent chance we're going to play these guys in the postseason, even though we're not in the same division. We got to make sure we match up with them. Let's go get David Price.
And even though Detroit, they have a very good starting rotation, they just figured with everything Oakland did, you have to make a move.
Miguel Montero sends McCutchen to the wall in left center field for a line out number 1. Some of the other non-waiver trade deadline activity we saw today. And it's interesting, the Yankees, you look at what the Yankees did, Joe.
Yeah.
Every time they want to make a move, they just upgrade. They had Nuno, they upgraded to McCarthy. They had Kelly Johnson, they upgraded to Stephen Drew. They had Brian Roberts, they upgraded to Martin Prado. They just go and take on the money, take on the contracts if they can get a better player.
And you said it perfectly, Steve. They're able to absorb those contracts.
Yeah.
That's why they can make those type of moves. And now that the non-waiver trade deadline is over, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's trying to pass someone through waivers for the purpose of trading them, that they wouldn't just go out there and claim them with the responsibility of their contract, because they can do that.
And that is the key. Now that the non-waiver trade deadline is over, you can still make trades, but you got to make sure that the player you want to trade passes through waivers before you can deal them. So every team has got to have a shot at claiming the guy. And for instance, Cliff Lee, who's owed somewhere between 48 and 60 million, you put him on waivers, probably no team's going to pick up that money. So you might be able to sneak him through as Pacheco flies out. So it's a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
There, but some of these big names you might be able to move because they have so much money attached.
Yeah. There's only certain teams out there, Steve, that can actually take on a contract like that.
Well, speaking of Cliff Lee, he's gone back on the disabled list.
Yeah. How about that, huh?
3 starts off the DL with elbow issues, and he's right back on it again.
Now, how about, Joe, David Peralta? Good example here. It's getting an extended 2-month look at the big league level at guys like Peralta and Inciarte and Pacheco and Ahmed and all these guys here. Does this, in a sense, become almost a 2-month tryout for some of these guys?
Well, with Peralta, I can't say enough about him ever since he's been up here. I'm really impressed with every part of his game, just getting better out there more and more.
That was a nice swing right there. Well, Joe, thanks. A quick inning here. We'll see you on Diamondback Live after the ball game.
Thanks.
Work on those dance moves, will you?
Oh, I'm going to have to.
Fever game summary as we're set for the 8th inning. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 6-4. Andy Marte, a home run in his first at bat as a Diamondback, his first homer in the big league since 2010. Nearly 4 years. And Jordan Pacheco in his first start as a Diamondback. He's out there at third base. A couple of base hits, a double. He scored a run, an RBI single. Diamondbacks have hit a couple of home runs, Marte and Hill, so it's 6-4. Brad Ziegler on for the 56th time already, as this has set up nicely for that Marshall Ziegler-Reed 7-8-9. Gabby Sanchez leads it off. Sanchez took over at first base midway through when he hit for Ike Davis. Gabby Sanchez was a guy that was dealt at the deadline a couple of years ago. He had a pair of 19 home run seasons in Miami. But 2 years ago at the trade deadline, sent to Pittsburgh for Gorkys Hernandez. So they've been trying to figure out first base for a couple of years now and still haven't found an answer.
Sanchez has one of those batting stances that looks like it should be uncomfortable. The longer you can make him hold that stance, I think it would improve your chances of getting him out. Real exaggerated crouch, a lot of weight on that back leg.
We've seen guys, and Carlos Quentin is a guy that comes to mind, that have bad knees, and they talk about as they get older standing more upright to kind of take pressure off that knee.
Mm-hmm. Fox Sports Arizona debuts the Coyotes Classic Series with a replay of last season's opening night win over the New York Rangers. Catch Coyotes Classic Monday night at 7 right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Oh,
nice. It's going to take a while to get used to saying Arizona Coyotes. Yeah. That's the new name this year. Russell Martin, a 2-run double in the second. Pirates led it 2-0. He's 1 for 3. You're over there all the time.
Oh, yeah. I
Big
love the
hockey
Yotes.
guy.
Yeah, that's great. Get over to Glendale early and partake of some of the tasty treats they have over there. There's a lot of good restaurants in Glendale around the arena there, you know, in the vicinity, downtown.
They did a really nice job with that area over there. It's fun to go. You get there early, hang out.
Yeah.
All kinds of spots. That's always a place when we have visitors. The wife and I take them over there, take them to a Coyotes game.
Sure.
It's always a good night out. Because if you live in the East Coast, you want to go to a hockey game, it's a war getting in there, man. You know, traffic, and you're trying to find a place to park, and the ticket's $1 million a piece, and the Coyotes is good. Lots of parking over there, tons of food. That misses 2-2. Now, what do you do when they play your Blackhawks?
I usually stay home. That's a tough one. You know, I've been a Blackhawks fans for years, but that's a tough one. I hate to root against my hometown team, so usually I give the tickets to somebody and stay home and watch it on Fox Sports Arizona.
Nicely done. And they turn 2. Hill, Ahmed, and they roll it. Nick Ahmed. Absolutely a gorgeous turn of 2 by the D-back middle infield. Aaron Hill, the LSU Tiger, and Nick Ahmed, the Yukon Husky.
By Aaron just to get to that ball. Nick Ahmed decides the best course of action is to just spin around with his back to the target here to make sure they get the 1 there at second base, and then gets a lot on that throw on to Goldie to complete that double play.
Nick Ahmed, who last year won a Gold Glove as the best defensive shortstop in all of minor league baseball, and we just saw why. Now the shift is on with 2 outs and nobody on for Alvarez, and they're trying to A lot of confusion here. Okay,
Yeah.
now they want Pacheco, the third baseman, to go over and play second. Alan Trammell directing traffic out there. Now he wants them in.
There you go. There you go.
Nick Ahmed at short.
And once again, this isn't based on just Alan Trammell's whim over there in the third base dugout. The Diamondbacks coaching staff have looked at a lot of video. They've looked at the spray charts. They've looked at Alvarez's numbers against right-handed pitching. They've looked at his numbers against right-handed submarine pitchers, and they've determined that this is where the defense should be positioned.
One and two. You see that binder that's at the foot of Alan Trammell right there. We go on the plains, going to start another series here, and Tram, it's like he's taking a bar exam. He's got all these binders and all this information and graphs and charts and all this stuff, and it's all documented about how often a guy hits to this side and how often to that side, and does he swing at a fastball on the first pitch and a breaking ball, all that stuff. It's all in there. And it's kind of a guide. And in this case, it's how to defend every Pirate hitter. Alvarez yanks that one foul. 73 miles an hour from Ziegler.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, too, because, each coach has their own area of specialization. And Alan Trammell's in charge of positioning, especially the infielders. You'll see Glenn Sherlock looking at the scouting reports on the opposing outfielders' arms, where they position themselves. Do they throw good running to their left but not to their right? Do they only throw good when they're charging the ball? Which infielders have the best cutoff arms? So, each guy is looking at his own specialty, and then they get together before a series starts. They exchange that information with each other, and ideally you go into the series and you're as well prepared as you can possibly be with the strengths and weaknesses of your opposition.
I wonder when he was in high school and college if Mickey cheated on his test, because he's down there. He's sneaking a peek at the binder. Look at him. Look at him. Mick, what's it say?
A lot of lines.
Thanks for that. Called strike three. Well, a straight line back to the dugout for Pedro Alvarez. And the Diamondbacks go to the home half of the eighth. They lead the Pirates 6-4. Our Subway in-game box score: Diamondbacks in the eighth inning lead the Pirates 6-4. Pittsburgh had a 2-0 lead after Russell Martin had a 2-run double in the second. Since then, it's been mostly Diamondbacks. A couple of home runs in the sixth, one by Aaron Hill and one by Andy Marte in his first at bat as a Diamondback. In fact, it was Andy Marte's first major league home run in 3 years and 301 days. Since 1974. Only two guys have gone longer. The last guy to have that long a drought in between major league homers. Jack Howell, who went almost 4 years, 180 days. Nick Ahmed singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 3. And Nick Ahmed hasn't blown you away with the offense yet, but he has hit and hit consistently. He's now hit in 4 straight games. This is just his 13th start. And he has got base hits now in 8 of the last 9 times he started the ball game. Well, we've seen Evan Marshall in the 7th, Brad Ziegler in the 8th, and Addison Reed in the Sanderson Ford bullpen warming up for the 9th. Gave up that long 3-run homer yesterday in Cincinnati to Devin Mesoraco. And the Diamondbacks, who had a big lead in that game, it was a 3-run homer, wound up winning 5-4. And Kirk Gibson with a win tonight. He will have the most victories by a manager in D-backs history. Nick Ahmed takes that one deep to left and gone. Nick Ahmed, his first major league home run, and it's 7-4 D-backs. All smiles for the rookie shortstop, his first big league homer.
Number 27, Roger
You mentioned Ahmed's been getting his hits, but recently he's been driving the ball. He was getting a lot of floaters that dropped in over the infield, some grounders that would find holes from time to time, but more recently he's been squaring the ball up and hitting it hard. Down and through that ball, got great carry chasing Harrison all the way to the barrier. 1 row deep, that's far enough.
Gotta go collect that souvenir for Nick. His family had driven down from western Massachusetts to Philadelphia to see him play. Played a lot in that series. Played only 1 game against the Reds, but got the big hit in the 15th inning and what turned out to be the winning run. Roger Kieschnick now hitting for the pitcher. And this is Rogers' 3rd time up with the D-backs this year. He's at 207 for the full season. His first appearance with the big league club since July 9th. And he strikes out for the first out here in the 8th. Well, let's do the old AT fan photo with a hashtag of the whole thing on the Twitter, AZ fan photo. Tony with the bobbleheads.
Oh, that's quite a collection of bobbleheads there. Tom Candiotti jumping right back into the fray.
So thank you, Tony, for your AT&T fan photo. Nice job. And I hate to say it, but Candy actually did pretty well there.
Yeah, he did. He's had plenty of rest.
Ender Inciarte, a 1-hop shot to Walker at second, 2 down. Tom Candiotti in a radio booth. Leo Gilmartin overseeing. Should be a raucous edition, by the way, of Snake Talk after the ball game. Lots to talk about with the ball game tonight and all the trade deadline stuff. So Leo Gilmartin, Jeff Munn, Greg Schulte, and I will have that for you on the radio side. 98.7 FM after the ball game. Diamond Talk, or as it's known on the street, Snake Talk.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll get you home. Aaron Hill homered his last time up, his 9th of the year. Drives that to center field. McCutchen at the track. And that sends us to the 9th, but Nick Ahmed adds an insurance run with his first major league homer. And Addison Reed will come in with a 3-run lead in the 9th. Inning at Chase Field. D-backs lead the Pirates 7-4. And here is Addison Reed. He worked yesterday afternoon at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Came out to start the ninth with a 5-1 lead. Gave up a single, a walk, and a 3-run homer by Devin Mesoraco. He was one strike away from closing out the ball game. Turned a 5-1 lead into a 5-4 win, but held on for his 26th inning.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's happened repeatedly this year for Addison Reed. All's well that ends well, but makes you hold your breath from time to time.
Jordy Mercer will lead it off. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Travis Snyder, who's been a very productive bat off the bench and is a starter for that matter lately for the Pirates, will take the at bat. So Mercer, Snyder, Harrison 8, 9, and 1 in the Pittsburgh ninth. Mercer walked in the second. He's 0 for 2. Got a 5-game hitting streak on the line right here. Bounced over the mound. Nick Ahmed charges. 1-1. A lot to like about Nick Ahmed defensively. His bat has done a lot of talking tonight, but he's made a whole bunch of nice plays down there at short.
It's a good first step. Has great speed, kind of glides across the infield, but it all starts with that first step, reading the bat, or the ball off the bat rather, quickly, getting to the spot.
Well, here is Travis Snyder, a very effective bat off the bench this year. He's at .286 as a pinch hitter, including 2 homers. Reed jumps ahead 0-1.
Good career numbers against the Diamondbacks as well. 9 for 22 lifetime against Arizona.
He has hit in 5 straight games. He's homered in 3 of those games, now with 7 homers on the year. One and one. He has been a thorn in the Diamondbacks' side. Former first-round pick by the Blue Jays back in 2006. 14th player selected overall in that draft, and just never panned out in Toronto. One and two. Oh. Big league foul ball up there.
I believe the gentleman on the right had his hands on it momentarily, but it dropped down to the deck below.
He wanted up, and Snyder chases. 2 down. Well, speaking of strikeouts, here comes Josh Harrison, last man standing for the Pirates. He has been at bat 4 times tonight. He has struck out 4 times. This is a guy who had homered in 4 straight ball games coming into tonight. Play on words there. We'll have game 2 of this 4-game series for you tomorrow here on Fox Sports Arizona. Vidal Nuno for the D-backs. Edinson Volquez for the Pirates. Diamondback Live pregame show starts at 6. Well hit right center. Peralta won't get there and rolls to the wall. And Harrison's in at second. 18th double for Josh Harrison.
Josh Harrison telling his first base coach Rick Sofield, that's a little more like it. He hadn't struck out more than twice in a game all season, but 4 punch-outs in his career, actually. But 4 in the game tonight, his first 4 at-bats.
And now here's Gregory Polanco, who doubled his last time up. He's 2 for 4. Pirates trying to get the run to the plate. The reigning NL MVP is on deck. You want to get Polanco here if you can. There's a strike, 1-1. Carved that one foul, and Addison Reed is the strike away. First of 4 against the Pirates. First of 10 straight here at home. Trying to close out a 7-4 win. Some Hillsboro Hops fans in the house with us in downtown Phoenix. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Gregory Polanco. He struck him out. Save number 27 for Addison Reed. And the Diamondbacks made Kirk Gibson the winningest manager in their franchise history. 338 wins for Gibby. And they close out a 7-4 victory over the Pirates.
Game all the way around. A little bit of a rough start for Josh Colmenter early in the ball game, and then his last pitch of the ball game, but managed to limit the damage that the Pirates put on the board, held them to 3 runs. Marshall gave up 1 run during his stint, but the offense busted loose from the 4th inning on. Better late than never.
A remarkable game for the D-backs. Saw Andy Marte in his first major league at bat in nearly 4 years. Homer in his first at bat as a Diamondback. Aaron Hill hit his 9th, and Nick Ahmed hit his first big league homer. It's a 7-4 D-backs win. Let's start the post-game show. Joe Borowski is with Todd Walsh. Here's Diamondbacks Live.
All right, thank you, Steve. We are just about set here out in right center field. And Joe, as we get ready for D-backs Live presented by Central League, I always think this is the most unique night in Major League Baseball, at least in the middle of the summer. It's trade deadline day, and if you're covering a team that's in sell mode, you never really know what you're going to get. There's all kinds of activity. You got guys shuttling up from the minor leagues, maybe a trade or two. How do you think the Diamondbacks reacted?
Well, Todd, there's one thing that trades do when you're a seller, it's create opportunity. And there was a lot of guys tonight, bench players, younger players, that got an opportunity to play, and they really helped out in the victories.
All right, we will break that down. In fact, we'll hear from plenty of them, plus Bob Brenly and Sidney Brunson down at field level. We'll talk to an Arizona Diamondback outside their victorious dugout here tonight. They win game 1 of 4 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. When we come back, we will begin Diamondbacks Live, presented by Century Link, here and only here on Fox Sports Arizona.